world we used to know is burning down. When are we strong enough to build our own? We've been running for ages to search some light. I want you, I know we.
Welcome, everybody, to the Super 16, the final regional for the European Spring Split before we head off to London for our final major before the World Championship. I'm, of course, Achieve. Sitting alongside me is two very, very intelligent people in Cole and Johnny Boy. Cole, how you doing today?
I'm all right. I don't know why you've referred to me as that, Achieves. I feel like I can't quite live up to those expectations. But, I mean, we've had 2 weeks off from the RLCS, and suddenly, Johnny, you're about to tell us it's all kicking off, right, around the world.
It is. Well, we've got EU coming up today, but also right now I've got one eye on my second monitor here because APAC North and APAC South are battling it out for a spot at London. That's going to also be decided today. So just crazy. There's constant Rocket League. You know, EU took a week off last weekend, but other regions already confirming who's going to be at London. And this is where we're going to find out the full lineup this weekend.
Yeah, tons of things to keep your eye on, but just to focus you guys a little bit here onto this broadcast, we'll be taking matches from round one of the bracket, then we'll do a match from the upper quarterfinal, then we'll go to the lower round one, and then one match from lower round two. And if we finish early in all of those matches, we'll be hopping around from team stream to team stream to kind of check in with how all those other matches are going. If you'd like to go and watch your favorite teams, you can check their Twitters for links to their streams, or if you would like to just stay right here and have all of us here on the desk take you through everything, kind of flyover action style. That's what will be going on here at twitch.tv/Rocket League. So some important things to note about today. There are 12 out of the current 16 teams in this regional that are still in contention for the major at London and Worlds. BDS is obviously not on that list as they have clinched both because they're unstoppable. The other teams that don't matter are Juicers, Augiri, Grow Noobs, cannot make major or land. It's not true that they don't matter, but their stakes are in the dirt. They're playing for nothing other than potential spoiler. So they are really just trying to make a lot of people angry. But let's go ahead, hop right into the bracket. And there's some interesting matchups here in the first round, obviously. Cole, looking here, an interesting one that has a lot of potential and story behind it, probably Dignitas and Simp.
Oh, yeah, that's the one that's caught my eye pretty much early doors because you think of Landon and you think of two teams. One of them is not going to be there. Rest in peace, NRG. Can't wait to see you guys at Worlds. The other one is Dignitas, the other competitors in that epic Season 5 Grand Final, and they are on the ropes themselves. They have to battle to get into the top 5. There's going to be a lot of teams watching Solary hoping they lose and lose considerably, and if they do, so many others can just about squeak into it and make Landon themselves.
Yeah,
so an interesting.
Look at how many teams matter. Actually, we got Juicers in there, we got Grow Noobs. You know, if they win today, that could really matter. You know, they could send BDS to the lower bracket. BDS could ruin somebody's day. I think they matter. Just for the record,
they do matter. They're just not playing for a whole lot. It was perhaps a misspeak, but either way, we'll see how they go out on the pitch. Let's go ahead and bring you back around. Let's take a look at our overall world standing points to give you an idea of how that's going to shape up heading into Dallas at the Dickies Arena for Europe. Obviously, it's a real tight race, kind of there in that 5, 6, 7 slot, Johnny, against some interesting dynamics going on today.
Yeah, very, very exciting because world spots right now for EU, you're looking at top 6, but that could change depending on how well EU does at London. Could be 5, could be 7. But right now it's 6, so you got to be top 6 in this leaderboard. And Semper, EG in the top 6, but not by much. Carmine Corp coming for their spots. Vitality still in a decent position. If they can sneak into London, then they're going to be taking one of those spots as well. So those are the teams you want to be doing badly if you're a Carmine Corp Vitality fan. Any fan of any team not in the top 6, you want EG and Semper to just get eliminated early, but Semper have been making top 8s pretty consistently, so not sure how that's going to work.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to watch out. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit here into just the spring split points. Try and dissect that a little bit more to give a more clear-cut picture of what it looks like going into London. And of course, perhaps to the surprise of some people, Team Liquid up there near the top. Vitality, outside shot. Who knows what's going to happen there? Solary as well, kind of playing gatekeeper in that 5 slot. Again, Cole, some interesting lines here as well for the spring split.
Yeah, you can basically see any team from 8th and above making it into that top 5. Of course, BDS Moist, Liquid, and more likely than not, Carmine Corp, would be a massive collapse for them not to make it, will be there in London. So the final question mark is that number 5. Who has everybody got? Solary, Vitality, Semper, or Endpoint? Most guys, they need a massive tournament. But I mean, you see on Twitter, apparently Jack has been saying that Dignitas are still somehow not backing themselves, but really fighting to get there as well. So all the way down, these teams have potential.
A lot of fun happening in Europe. It was a little dicey, I'll be honest, watching things last week. I didn't know what to expect, but I'm really looking forward to getting into this final split. Hopefully Europe will have settled the fears a little bit. I was really gung-ho about them, and taking one more look at the bracket, we're going to give you an inside look at what potentially is the most juicy match of the day. It will be our featured matchup here in round 1, Solary versus Vitality, right there near the top. And Johnny, this is an interesting one to say the least.
I thought you were going to go with Juicers versus BDS when you entered this one as the most juicy matchup, but this is definitely a juicy one as well. I've got to agree. A rematch from last EU's event, I almost said last weekend. It's actually 3 weekends ago now, but it's a rematch. Vitality, Solary keep running into each other. Solary took Vitality down in regional number 1. Vitality got the revenge, regional number 2. This is the all-important one. Vitality are the team who need this a little bit more. They're currently 50 points behind Solary, off the pace for Landon. And Solary, like I said earlier, if they can just get into the top 8, they ruin pretty much everybody's tournament. Because we're all assuming the BDS and Moist and KC Team Liquid are going to remain consistent. If Solary can just get in the top 8, it's very tough for anyone to take their spot away from them.
Yeah, definitely seeing how that's shaped out for Solary, considering the tough kind of go in the world's points department, but specifically for this split at London, definitely playing very, very well. And Cole, I don't know about you, but I think personally the Dutch have it. I'm not sure what you think.
Oh, my prediction. Yeah, I think the last time I saw these two teams, I leaned so heavily towards Solary, and I was actually commentating it with Johnny Boy, and we were just amazed by the Vitality performance. It was so impressive. They looked great. They suddenly looked again like a top tier team. They built us up. We believed in them. After they beat Solary, then they went out and lost their next 2 series. But their performance against Solary gave me so much heart, and I think they're going to repeat it. So I'm going to go for the French team on this occasion.
Well, Johnny, before I let you go ahead and get your prediction, obviously go ahead and get your predictions down there in the chat. You may have seen down there at the bottom of the screen with the hashtags, hashtag SLY for Solary or hashtag VIT. If you want to vote for Vitality, we'll pull that up a little bit later. Johnny, what are you thinking about this one?
This is a tough one. I think this is the toughest to predict round 1. Either this or Dignitas Semper, both such massive matches, but I think I'm going to go Solary. It didn't work out last time I picked them against Vitality, but I think the fact that Vitality were just eliminated straight away after beating Solary in the last event, it points towards that being a peak for Vitality in the matchup. And if they can't do that again, I think Solary have got a higher average floor that they're playing at. So I'm going to lean towards Solary here, but Vitality winning would make this event and the Landon scenarios a whole lot more interesting.
I do think I do find myself leaning towards the Dutch. As I said earlier, I really like how Tho and Oli have been looking on the pitch. Mike Boy as well. Always been near and dear to my heart, considering he shares my namesake, but that's not the point. I am curious if I could convince you both to make one bold prediction. Do you think Vitality make it to London before we play a single match this weekend? would you back them to go all the way?
I have long since given up on ever backing Vitality, so I will say no. It's just, I did for a long time, okay? For a long time when they started to go down, I was like, this is the week they're going to get good again. It never happened. So I'll say no, but it would be a great story to see them back there.
Yeah, I'm leaning
Johnny, how
towards
about
that
you?
as well. I've got to say Solari for London.
Tragic. Unlucky. You hate to see it. It's the death of perhaps what we thought was good. I don't know. I think the roster move has been good, though, for Vitality. It was nice to see a little bit of a resurgence, even if it did kind of, as you say, take a bit of a nosedive there towards the end. Let's go ahead and see what you guys think at chat for this specific matchup. Okay. Slight lead for Vitality. Surprising. Yes, no, maybe so.
Yeah, I'm a little
They're
bit
popular
surprised.
enough for that to make sense. This is a close match, so it's fair enough. Fair enough to a chat. Leaning Vitality. I see you.
All right, well, let's go ahead, get right into this game. I'll let you guys go ahead. I'll try and keep an eye on what's going on through the rest of the lower bracket. And maybe if something interesting pops up, I'll come in and hop into the comms, let you guys give you an update. So you guys have fun. I'm going to sit here and view everything else.
Thank you so much, Achieves. Yeah, Solari versus Team Vitality. As I mentioned on our little mini day one pre-show, Johnny, the last time we saw these two teams, Vitality probably put in the best performance we've seen from them, at least as far as the eye test goes, for many months.
Yeah, Kid Up was hitting everything that he went for. Already Kid Up's hitting something that he's gone for. 1-0 in 12 seconds. I think Kid Up can be consistent and Radosin can just pop off. This is a team who can make deep runs for sure. And they did it last time against Solari. They were able to bring out the goods. They were able to get the win in round one and send Solari to that lower bracket. It's keeping up that level of form that proved to be the issue, but I'll give it to them already. They're the faster team out of the gate, and they're the team with the lead.
Well, let's see if they can keep it as Oli comes forward. Has two in front of him. Brilliant attempt there with the flip reset, and Alpha is just bundled out the way by K-Dot. Such is Vitality's desperation to get rid of the ball right there. But that's what we have to see from Vitality. We have to see them fighting for it. We have to see them desperate to get on that ball, because I feel like when Radosin first joined the team, he started off, despite Vitality finishing 4th in the first regional, just a little bit slow. It wasn't until that second regional that he really took the bull by the horns and looked like a great player himself. But how much space has Mike Boy had there?
Yeah, Alpha 54 was in the back corner here, but Oli managed to bump him, so Mike Boy's shot just went through. There's no one back to cover the net. Very nice bump off the ball there by Oli, who's looking lively early on in the series. Best of 5 for round 1, best of 5 all day today in what will be the end of the season for many teams, many players. If you're not making it to Landing, you're not making it to Worlds or Wildcard, this is it. This is the last event of the season. Everybody's giving it their all.
Giving it your all and not too many opportunities to lose either. Double elimination, as it's been throughout this split, means that just a couple of losses and you are out of here. But Alpha almost gets Solari out of there with a lovely little air dribble. Good tap. He's already won a couple of decent balls in the air, has Alpha, so showing some pace and speed as this new Vitality roster continue to get used to each other. But Solari, they started the split so well, running so deep in that first competition. A little bit disappointing the second time out, and they will be wanting to fix that there. Definitely in their hands, making it to Landon in spot number 5, and they've managed to get back into this first game as well. So they've got a little bit of pressure on Vitality. Radosin tries to slow things down, but Oli follows up the 50-50 game from Solari. We know that is their best weapon against a team like Vitality, and they will not be too disappointed to see Team Vitality trying to play that way. Here's another chance for Oli, but Radosin clears it long.
Yeah, Solari definitely dominated with the 50-50 game in the first regional of this split, but since then teams have started to anticipate that, and it's up to Solari to try and surprise their opposition. They've got to mix it up a little bit. You can always go back to that low 50-50, the controlled game. The hard clear is probably what they're going to go to, just to keep teams from moving in and taking all the space away from them. So you don't have to really worry about hard clears. You don't have to worry about long shots when a team is just trying to control every ball in the back corner and 50-50 everything like Solari did in regional number 1. They are trying to keep Vitality guessing at the moment. They're actually getting a ton of space to work with, and Vitality do back down all the way to their net pretty consistently.
Yeah, some decent bumps and demos coming in from Solari again, though. Vitality seem to be staying a little bit still in defense at times, as Alpha makes me eat my words by taking out Mike Boy in the midfield, but it's Solari that can go forwards with a flip reset. Alpha gets a clean touch all the way forwards, and Mike Boy is on his own goal line. Has to be careful with his touch. Actually touches the goalpost. Going to make it really awkward for him there. and Alpha can steal the boost. So a decent little passenger play there for Vitality. Nothing comes from it, but they are just showing that in this game of patience, maybe they are more likely to strike next. Feels like I've hit a bit of a midpoint in this game, Johnny. Things have slowed down somewhat in the last 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see less passing coming out of Solary. I would love to see them infield a little bit more. They've had space to try and lob the ball into the center a couple of times and instead just gone straight for goal. Vitality likewise just very direct at the moment, playing route one, keeping it simple. You can see a Solary player lurking in the midfield pretty much every single time that they advance. They've got an option there, yet to take it.
Mike Boy, such an important player for Solary as well. The last few times Vitality have come forward, he's been left all alone and had to deal with them. Now on the other side, here's Oli with a chance for a double tap. Absolutely nails it.
So just narrowly beats Alpha to the ball to set it up as well. That was such a key opening touch. Hit up had boost there on the back wall. That's a big miss. Vitality actually falling behind now. So far, for me, it's been Oli who's been the toughest player to answer. He's actually getting consistent outplays on Vitality.
My favourite player for Solary as well. Always seems so difficult to beat when he has So and Mike Boy beside him. This is a team that are looking more and more like just that. A team understand each other. That's a great one though from Alpha, and Mike Boy, the last man back yet again, comes in clutch for Solary. Only misses that one though. They're going to have to do some defending for the last 45 seconds or so. Dosen's got this ball. He hasn't got much boost to play with until one spawns in front of him. Only winning that one again. Good speed from Solary. They started off the game the slower of the two teams, but have definitely stepped up since then. With 30 seconds left, Alpha has to do something. He has to conjure something up, but Mike Boy just steams in there from that third man position and just keeps getting in the way of Vitality.
He's finding a lot of ways into the game, Mike Boy. Like you mentioned, he's been playing third man most of this game. He's got 5 saves to his name already out of the 7 that his team have in total.
Oh, great.
He's staying active as another bump actually connects, and the shot goes top corner from Tho. Not for the first time this game. Oli behind enemy lines, bumping the last man. I'm not sure if he would have made it either way, though. That was a very aggressive position for Dosen to take, as Solary lead now by 2 goals. They're looking great. 3 on the trot against Vitality.
And they had to come back from the goal down as well, did Solary. It wasn't easy for them in this first game. Vitality showing a real turn of pace right at the start, but Solary built their way into it. Didn't panic, which is maybe the difference between this performance and the one we saw from them in the second regional. Just able to keep Vitality at arm's length, not worry too much when they're playing well, when they're taking the lead, when they're beating Solary to the ball in the air. Slightly adjust their game plan and slow things down a little bit. And when it was just a bit of a grind, Solary to me did look more likely at taking the opportunities when they came. Johnny, thanks mainly to those bumps.
Yeah, they're great off the ball. Lovely physical play out of Solary. Just completely stopping Vitality short in the midfield. After the opening goal, Vitality didn't really have a lot going for them in attack. And I think Solary's high defensive line helped out with that.
Chiefs, I mean, we had 46% of people backing Solary here, so something of an upset in this game. Any other upsets around the place?
Currently, the biggest one right now is probably 3-3 with Endpoint versus Irigiri with just started overtime in game 1. So me saying that Algiri doesn't really matter too much, instantly having to eat my words a little bit there. Luminosity was 1-0 over K-Corp at game 1. BDS 3-1 over Juicers with about a minute left, and Simper leading over Dignitas 2-1 with about a minute left. So lots to keep an eye on in round 1, but the biggest one probably Endpoint versus Algiri in OT at the moment.
It's crazy because every result you were saying just there, I was like, oh my goodness, they're losing. Wow, it's the end of these regionals. I love it when every goal matters. It's great.
It's terrifying.
Terrifying.
I can't handle the stress. I just remember the first regional of the spring split. I was like, oh, I forgot how hard double elimination is. It's terrifying.
It is very harsh, and it's going to be harsh in our feature game yet again. 1-0 to Solary after a very good performance in the first game, despite a slow start. Oli can make it a really quick start for Solary in this second one, though.
Well
finishes the job that Oli started. Good finish.
Yeah, great shot coming out of Tho. Oli in the 1v1. Didn't force the goal immediately, but he forced a bad save, and that's the next best thing. Tho able to pounce on the free ball and put Solary ahead even quicker than Vitality took the lead in game 1. This is rapidly becoming a bit of a one-sided game. Still early days, but Vitality have not looked as mechanical as they did last regional in this matchup, where Radosin was popping off and getting multiple outplays, and Alpha 54 was being Alpha 54. That none of those things have been happening today for Vitality, and if the solo plays aren't popping off, they need to work well as a team. And I don't remember the last time I saw a good pass from them. Maybe that's the first goal that they scored, but since then it's pretty much been one touch and then Solary come in and take the ball from them.
Agreed with you there, Johnny Boy. Seems to be fairly standard touches from Vitality. Playing it safe, playing it easy, and Solary are always ready for that. They're so fast. Wow, what a save that was from Alpha from within his own goal. But just a snap of life there from Solary to turn fairly neutral play into an attack almost again. But Mike Boy, the now perennial third man in this series, was able to turn away from it. Still a chance, though, comes in the end for Vitality, and they've upped their pace recently. Vitality showing more of the signs of themselves that took Solary that seemed to find it pretty easily against Solary when last they played. But Solary come forward again. Mike Boy can't quite get it on target. And it just seems that with Vitality speeding up, Johnny, they might leave themselves open behind.
Yeah, they don't really have a choice, though. They're not creating very many chances, and when you're struggling for opportunities on net, you need to take more risks positionally or mechanically, and that's what Vitality are trying to do here. They're completely out of boost, though. Oli slots in a second goal, and it was just too awkward on the goal line for K-Dop and Radosin. They're both in the area, but Radosin pre-jumps, misreads the crossbar bounce, and K-Dop left boost starved, not able to keep Solary at bay. 2-0.
Not too impressed with the Vitality communication either. The two players on the goal line doing the exact same dance, going forward and backwards together to allow that angle to come in. And in the end, the finish was pretty easily done, should I say. With a quick shot towards the goal, but K-Dop was up for that one all by himself. That's better from Vitality. Good pass from K-Dop to Alpha, but then the hit forward is just read too easily again there. K-Dop's hoping to get involved, but Mike Boy isn't going to let him. And now we're seeing way too few passes from Vitality. Solary are getting clean touches all over the place, finding each other with their hits, and Vitality are struggling to come forward at all.
Yeah, Solary have got a system working right now. They're rotating around each other very well, leaving boost for each other when it needs to be left up for someone else who's needing a bit more than you do. Just giving each other a lot more space as the 50-50 gets forced infield. Infield pass really being threatened consistently now in game number 2 by Solary. I think they passed up quite a lot of opportunities to pull that off in the first game. They've realized that, tried to send the ball directly into the middle, counter Vitality's defensive positioning. Vitality are completely stuck in their own half. Just one shot to their name. It was a decent opportunity from Radosin early, but they're just double committing and failing to communicate and spread out and just know who's supposed to go for what. Vitality looking second best by a clear margin.
Very fine line between genius and looking a bit silly, and Vitality there with what we'll generously call a fake shot. Could have looked brilliant if it had come off, but the fact that the finish wasn't there from the second player just makes it look a little bit staggered in their attack and their approach. They have to change that. They do have time, though, only a couple of goals in it and almost a couple of minutes on the clock. Starting to put some passes in, these long looping passes forward, but Oli, I mean, you mentioned him in the first game, Johnny, and he has been the man who's intercepted so many of them for Solary. Vitality do come forward again. Here's Alpha, a chance to show off his mechanics, but Oli again is just waiting for the ball. He is reading everything Vitality are putting forward, and they just cannot lay a punch on Solary right now.
That's still just that one shot for Radosin. Alpha 54's managed to pick up a couple, but neither of them were all that threatening. K-Dop with a tough read does well. Knock that into the corner, but Alpha 54 gets bumped as he tries to take control of the ball in defense. Now Tho's taking a boost away from Radosin. It's just little wins all over the pitch for Solary. Little bump here, little boost steal there. Everything that they're doing, making Vitality's life all the more difficult. There, Alpha 54 again just getting bumped off the ball as he tries to just transition out of defense with a ceiling shot. And now Mike Boy's bumped the last man. Radosin has to dive back. Physical play proven to be the difference, or one of the differences, I would say. Solary have been better in many ways, but that's something they've done exceptionally well in the matchup so far.
Solary come forward again, a great pass from Oli to Mike Boy, who has been so much more advanced in this second game. But this could be a chance to counter. Alpha has boost, and he has a chance to go solo in the air. Above him, Radosin. Alpha's trying to get a bump. Oli dodges it. Desperate was Alpha to get a touch on that ball towards K-Dop. But Oli, yet again, the mastermind between Solary's defense, allows Tho to air dribble it forwards. Radosin gets a tough read, similar to K-Dop's earlier, but it's looking like they're not going to have time. The flip reset's going nowhere. Does get a second chance, but Solary can just wait just wait until Mike Boy steams in. Brilliant play from Solary. They are reading Vitality like a book, and they are getting another goal to add to their lead.
Yeah, aggressive third man dive there from Vitality, knowing that they need to get 2 goals in quick succession. It does lead to a third for Solary as Mike Boy shows us how to control a pinch center ball, throw there for it to make it 3-0. Just easy for Solary right now. Their system is working well, they're rotating brilliantly, their bumps have been effective, and they've passed a lot more in game number 2 as well. I'd say the second game, just an improvement from Solary on their first game performance, which was also quite a comfortable win. Vitality just don't know how to answer it. Solo plays are going nowhere, passing plays are non-existent, communication seems to be breaking down. It's all gone wrong for the French superstars.
This seems like one of those days for Vitality where it is just not happening for them. And Solary, we were saying that this is the team that pretty much have to lose to open the door for Vitality themselves and Semper and Endpoint, and it's just not looking like it's going to happen. What could be a huge series victory for Solary in this double elimination bracket is going so well for them. Chiefs, any of the other teams out there looking to get into that top 5, or the teams that don't matter, doing anything?
Juicers are definitely taking BDS for a little bit of a spin. It was 1-1 with about 1:30 left, so they may tie the things up. K-Corp, if you're big fans of mechanics, they absolutely smashed Luminosity in game 1 5-2, which is a good thing to see if you like them. Misfits regaining ground 3-2 W to tie things up with Liquid heading into game 3, and Dig regaining a little bit of ground against Semper as well. So things looking pretty good for a lot of people who lost game 1, and Algeria currently just conceded game 2 back to Endpoint, so they're tied as well heading into their own game 3.
So it seems that pretty much every series is 1-1 except for this one, which looks like it's just going to be a Solary domination.
And they pretty much smashed it. I mean, I've been watching that one out of the corner of my eye too. Like game 1, it was kind of a little bit of push, a little bit of pull for both teams. And game 2, I think you said it, Johnny, it's just everything breaking down for Vitality, the small wins. I mean, they're really absolutely shoving it down for Vitality. They cannot figure out how to get out of their own half.
All eyes then on Vitality to see if they can stop the rot and at least get themselves involved in a series that seems to be going so easily in the direction of the 3 Dutch players. Already a good start there from Onu with a little air dribble over the top. But the man on the ball now, attempting a musty flick and following it up. He has to step up here, Johnny. This is where Vitality need the alpha show to commence.
Or how about the Redosin show? This is the guy who scored a top 3 player of the day in the Solary Vitality matchup last regional number 2. And, you know, when we saw Redosin playing like that, the first thing that came to all of our minds is maybe this is good news for Vitality, because Alpha 54 doesn't need to do that hard carry pop-off every single time. So every time Alpha has a quiet day or a quiet game in the past, Vitality would lose. But with Redosin being a more mechanical player, you've got a little less load on your shoulders. Oh, that's a great pass. Opposite the post, and the K-Dot follows up. He's going to have his shot saved to the post pinch. That needed to be on target. Redosin did all the heavy lifting. Alpha not able to hit the target. Redosin now narrowly missing a stealing shot. It's been Redosin for me who's had the biggest pop-off so far in game 3. Can Alpha step up and help him out?
Oh, the creativity, though, from Vitality is so much better. These little passes into the center, they're in the same conversation right now. The Vitality players, not stepping on each other's toes, but helping each other out. These hits finding each other, but Obi's going to slow things down. In the air, he dances. K-Dot meets him. The 50-50 goes to the ceiling. Redosin wants to follow it up, but can't quite do it, allowing a clean touch for Mike Boy to get right into that Vitality corner. That might be going all the way. No, it's in the crossbar. I think it hit the post as well there. Bit of pandemonium there in the Vitality defense. Somehow, we're still at 0-0. I don't really know how. Almost a couple of minutes in.
Yeah, really could have been a goal there. K-Dot wasn't ready to attack the center ball. And even though it was quite a low one, he had to just wait and hope that Oli would hit the bar, and he did. Still 0-0. Mike Boy trying to stretch to reach a ball that he slightly misread the bounce of. Look at the confidence from Solary. Definitely feeling like the faster team today. That's not the first time. Normally it'll be the last third man's committed. Alpha 54 not able to 1v1 Oli, who stands strong in the way of him, but Redosin's got someone up and ends off the post and out. Vitality just can't get the goal. They've had the better chances in game 3 though.
They're doing everything but scoring, Vitality. That's a good touch from Redosin. They will go again, reloading over and over. This Vitality team look more alive now, but a bump. No, there's no bump. It's actually a redirect from the floor. Mike Boy gets the lead for Solary.
You definitely know he was thinking about the bump here, but Volcam stayed on that whole time. He was in the right spot to threaten the goalkeeper, and no doubt that is what Redosin was expecting. A great little deflection there from Mike Boy to steer the ball past him. Half of the game to go. Vitality need something special. They need their star player Alpha 54 to step up here. They need their new player Radosin to show that the pop-off performance versus Stollery in regional number 2 is not a flash in the pan.
All it takes is one goal, and suddenly Vitality will believe they can get back into this series, but they haven't scored a goal since the first game. And it's not looking any more likely right now after having so much pressure on the Solary goal and still finding themselves one behind. That's really going to hurt. It could be worse here. K-Dub's clearance does go as far as Radosin, but his first touch is maybe going to let him do something against Oli. No, Oli's clearance was good. His 50-50 game was strong, even in the air, even with no boost left, even when it looked like Vitality could make a counter-attack. Solary just put a big old Dutch car in the way, and Vitality can't do anything with it. The fakes aren't quite working either, but they are trying more nimble thoughts of Vitality. They're trying to mix up their approach, and that I like. K-Dub's getting involved. That was going onto the backboard or the back wall, and K-Dub then just getting involved again in the sky. You can't say they're not trying, Vitality. They're attempting so much, but Solary always seem to be able to read it, and when they do come forward, they cut through and bundle the ball home.
Mike Boy crushes Vitality on the goal line, and I think crushes their hopes in this matchup as well. Vitality have really just tried anything here. They've tried to catch Solary off guard with their weird angles of approach and offense this game. It hasn't worked out. They've tried to hit the target, and they've come into contact more often with the post. But one thing has been consistent this entire series is that Solary are a constant threat moving forward. Vitality not really, I think, playing the best defense today. Communications looked off. But Solary are confident. Solary are quick. They aren't relying on that control that they so clearly have figured out from earlier on in the split. They're really going for the win today, and they're going to have a 3-goal lead. Oli, with nobody to beat, puts the goal into the net. Vitality are on a speed run right now to the lower bracket.
Just shooting practice for Solary at this point. I've loved the way this team has approached this series. At the start, as we mentioned, Vitality looked like the better team for the first minute or so, which obviously isn't a very long time, but when you begin a series and you aren't as good as your opponent, you can get on top of yourself, you can get in your own head. Solary never let that happen, and now they are reaping the rewards. Another kickoff goal. It's pretty painful for Vitality. It's a little bit. But Solary, though, I mean, this has been brilliance from them.
It has, yeah. Vitality are going to be very disappointed with how they've played here. They've run into a Solary team who are playing some of the best Rocket League they've played all split, but what we're seeing here from Vitality is nowhere near the level they need to be at, and nowhere near the level they know they can be at if they're going to be contending for a land-in spot this weekend. They're not out yet, but lower bracket is a terrifying place to be in the final online event of the entire season. And unfortunately for Vitality, they just didn't bring the right tools to the table today. The Dutch built a dam in the midfield, and it proved to be a bit too tough for Vitality to get past.
Now, do you want to hear some copium, Johnny? I know you love it.
I love it, yeah.
Last time we watched Vitality and Solary play, it was the first round upper bracket game, and Vitality were great. They were absolutely brilliant. Best we've seen them play in months. We were saying, wow, Vitality are back with Radosin, right? They ended up then bombing out, not winning another series. So now this time, you and I are casting Vitality. We're saying, oh, their season's over. They've been rubbish. You know, they've really lost to Solary. They've lost it. Does that mean that when you and I stop watching them, they're going to be great for the rest of the tournament? So like a direct opposite situation.
I hope so. Just for the storyline. You know, this can't be how it ends, surely. This can't be how Vitality's season ends. It just in a absolute car crash with no life left. You know, they have to fight for this. They're in the lower bracket now, but they're not out. They're going to need to win twice today in order to make it into, further into this event, but more importantly, into qualifying spots for Landon. They're going to be up next against the loser of Moist versus Grow Noobs, which I think is going to probably be Grow Noobs, as Moist have already beaten them 3-0. But yeah, Chiefs, what other news have we got? I've only just now refreshed the bracket, so anything else?
It was pretty wild. The biggest one probably would have been Liquid with a late game equalizer against Misfits and winning the overtime. So they're currently ahead in the series 2-1, and I can hear Jorby crying somewhere in the US. He's very upset. Juicers were tied against BDS, but unfortunately They're still playing in their game 3. So Juicers giving BDS a pretty decent run for their money. Endpoint took the game 3 win over Algerian, currently kind of running the floor with them. They just scored 2 inside of 15 seconds, so they're looking pretty good as well. But as you said, Moist already beat Grenoble, so perhaps the one expected result we thought. But some of the other teams that I thought didn't matter are putting up a pretty decent show.
I just realized that series was 11-1 for Solary overall after Vitality.
Yeah.
You know, they had a really good opening 20 seconds. Some of their best
They had
opening
a good,
20 seconds.
good goal at the start, and then they completely fell apart. So good job, Solary.
Well, I'll tell you what, since we've finished game 1, let's go ahead and hop over to that Dig Semper match, as it was the other one we kind of put the spotlight on before we started. Should be pretty interesting, as I said. Semper currently leading, Dignitas trying their hardest right now, and all the Twitter game may not be enough for Appjack, it seems.
Yeah, he was asking people to believe, but there's a long way back, especially with Solary playing so well today. I mean, it might be that Dignitas, you can go as far as you want, but if Solary end up really performing in this tournament, then it doesn't matter what you do, what Endpoint do, what the teams around the area do, because Solary, as we mentioned, have it all in their own hands. It's a little bit sad what's happened with Dignitas. You know, it took me a little while to really believe when they brought in Scrub Killer that was the right choice. And then I really believed that bringing in Scrub Killer was the right choice. And they've found themselves in this sort of drain of form. And it's going to be a long way back for them, especially missing out on Landon, just because there's so much history. And it would be a shame to have Landon without NRG or Dignitas. That would be a bit of a crying shame, really.
Yeah, we've got to see as well, I think, one more match. Well, everybody's really hoping, I think, just storyline hopiums coming in for Dignitas versus BDS next round. That would be huge. Or maybe even more interesting would be Dignitas versus BDS lower round 1 if Juicers can upset BDS. That would be, I wouldn't say no to that. That would be a good one. But, you know, Dignitas are still in this. Semper up to 1. Semper, you got to remember, are actually a tough team. They're the team who are, I think the gatekeepers this split. They've been 8th place every event so far, both events that have already happened. So if you want to contend for Landon spots, you've got to be beating them.
Of course, on the other side, you can see Liquid versus Misfits, and late lead for Liquid as well. Jorby continuing to cry. It really is tragic if you like the Misfits. It's a perennial problem to play really, really well and then just throw it away, it seems. But I agree with what you were saying with Semper and Dignitas. As okay, I thought that was in for a second. I was about to be like, hang on, that can't go in.
Yeah, I think that Misfits in the first couple of splits, they went into the final day pretty much in, oh my God, what a goal that could be. So close. Pretty much in Solary's position where everything was in their hands. Surely they're going to do it. And have had a couple of,
oh no way. You're kidding.
I've been at the post so many times. This is post day. We had a bunch of vitality in that third game. And now it seems that Misfits have caught the post bug.
But yeah, Misfits go to the lower bracket. Can you imagine? Just ping, 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 and then it's just like, okay.
Pinball your way down into the lowers.
That's brutal. That's not over yet.
I think it does really need to go so badly. I mean, just for their mental, I think if they'd make an early dive down to the lower bracket, it's done. But yeah, especially the hands of Semper, because they know they've got to be beating teams like Semper. You're going to make a deep run in this event. You can't lose to Semper. No disrespect to them, but teams who are going to be winning, coming first, second, you can't lose that particular series. You can lose to BDS. That would be fair enough. But you can't lose here.
Shout out to Semper.
Yeah,
go for it.
I was going to say that Semper are a team that the first couple of series that they had with Exotic, I was a little bit disappointed, really, because they seemed quite bland, for lack of a better word, quite boring. They weren't bringing the fight to their opponents. They were trying to just grind out a series. Since then, Exotic has just absolutely come to life and sparkled for Semper. He is the true difference in most series that he plays, for better or for worse. You know, he can overcommit and do something horrific, but he makes that team exciting, and Semper have become exciting, and I'm so happy about that. That, you know, were I to watch them at a LAN, I wouldn't be snoozing along during it. I'd be excited.
Rip Algieri. I was watching this one on the other monitor, and generally they were playing them pretty tight, but it does appear to have slipped away from them here. Unfortunately, a minute left, 4-1. Astalon, Stizzy, and VK Salen. A lot of high hopes for Algiri, but considering, Astalon, VK Salen, how well they performed in some regionals in the past, but can't beat old reliable Endpoint.
This is new, actually reliable Endpoint. They've got Archie now, Mr. Consistent from Ingalund, I'll have you know. And it's a good sign for Endpoint. This split hasn't quite exploded for them. A couple of series that could have gone either way have gone against them, which is the classic Endpoint series story. But they still have a chance. They'd have to hope that Solary slow down a little bit, whatever happens. But assuming they can win this one, it'd be nice to see them survive in the upper bracket, because they keep going down to that lower bracket way too quickly for my liking. But this seems like a much better performance, especially as you were saying, Achieves, that Aogiri were putting a fight against them, and Endpoint actually found a way to show off their superiority, which is often the big disappointment in Endpoint, that when they should be the superior team, they're not. And you're watching it thinking, oh, why wouldn't you just pass? Why wouldn't you just shoot? Seems like those decisions are being made correctly today.
And you did also bring up an interesting point talking about how well Solary looked in their match by Vitality. I know you had some thoughts on that, Johnny, at the start of the day. A lot of people don't want Solary to do well. Do you think that, unfortunately, their hopes may be dashed against the rocks?
I think so. I like what I'm seeing from Solary today. I think that they're going to be that team to sneak into Landon. Said that at the start of the day. I've not seen anything to change my mind yet. But the key storylines to follow now that we see Dignitas dropping down to the lower bracket are Endpoint and Semper, because they're still in the upper bracket. Semper looks like they're on a collision course with BDS, which could be at the end of their upper bracket run. But Endpoint, they've got Carmine Corp next round, should things continue as they currently are. Both very tough matchups there, but they're matches you've got to win if you're going to keep the pressure on Solary. Solary up against Moist in the upper quarterfinals. That's, I think, a winnable match for Solary, to be honest. Moist have been struggling this split. They haven't looked anywhere near as dominant as they did in the winter split. But like we mentioned before, if teams like Semper, teams like Endpoint are going to stay in the running for that Landon spot, even Vitality in the lower bracket, they need Moist to beat Solary. Solary guaranteeing a top 6 is devastating for any of the teams who are trying to compete with them for that spot.
And what you see on your screen now is currently Luminosity versus K-Corp. This is game 4. K-Corp is up 2-1 in the series. And so Luminosity trying to equalize, maybe force a game 5 here. And again, Luminosity. Oh, wow. That's okay, Astral. Luminosity is, again, another team made up of a lot of high quality players from a lot of other teams, Tox, Eco, and Atomic. And they've kind of been struggling to find their footing here, but you could say the same thing about K-Corp in their own right.
I love the fact that K-Corp are finally probably going to make a major. I cannot wait to see Astral at a LAN, bringing back the old Astral mechanics, doing something sublime in front of thousands of baying fans will be a beautiful sight to behold. And Carmine Corp, such a hugely supported org as well. I think those of us not in French-speaking countries maybe don't quite realize how huge Carmine Corp are. Just thousands upon thousands upon thousands of devoted fans who want to see this team do well in Rocket League and any other game that they compete in. So that will be great. It'll be exciting to see them there for personal reasons and for sort of more corporate org reasons as well.
Is Juicers going to... Oh, my God. Okay, I thought Juicers maybe were going to hold off BDS right there, maybe force an overtime there in game 4, but could spell the end of them here. But unfortunately, they all missed the clear off the backboard. Tragic. Unlucky.
Good speed as well. Was that also... I couldn't quite see. Was that a flip reset from Seiko off the backboard or just a double tap?
I'd believe it if it was.
Yeah, you can say there's a good chance it was if it's Seiko.
Yeah, true. But in that case, wow. That's when you know you're good. When people just assume... If you were watching me play, you'd assume it wasn't one, even if I did do one. Oh, what goal this could be? Oh, Astral. Let that go in. That'd have been sick. Yeah, with a guy like Seiko, it's just, you assume he's going to do the amazing thing. Like, yeah, he probably did.
That's it now for Juicers. If they're going to keep this series alive, but they are not, it does bounce into the ground. So BDS have won 3-1 in their round 1 matchup. That's going to send them into the upper quarter versus Semper. So that matchup, you'd expect BDS to win. I mean, BDS you expect to beat anybody these days. So good luck, Semper. They really badly need that one, though. Semper are still in the running for that Landon spot. But like we keep saying, the biggest story of the weekend they need Sillery to do badly. They need Sillery to lose today to someone, to multiple teams actually. But for Sillery to lose twice, they're going to need to lose to Moist in the upper quarter, and then they're going to need to lose to the winner of Aokiri versus Luminosity, as things are currently headed. But, you know, Luminosity aren't out yet, down 2-0.
Putting up a good show here.
Yeah, they are.
Wait, no, this is the Luminosity game. This is 2-2 in game 4.
Yeah, 2-2 in game 4, but series score. Oh no, actually 2-1.
Yeah,
sorry, they've taken 1.
It's 2-1, yeah.
Yeah, they've taken 1. Yes, this is, I think, a good chance. This is the best chance for Sillery to be eliminated, is lose to Moist and lose to LG in lower round 1. Or, you know, Karmine Corp. It's possible. It could happen. And that would be the best possible scenario for Endpoint, best possible scenario for Semper, even Dignitas in that lower bracket, Vitality. But we're going to find out that later on today. The next match on the stream will be upper quarters. So Sillery versus Moist. What a massive match that is.
Oh.
And Semper BDS as well.
I mean,
so many big games here.
the more I think about the performance from Sillery that we just saw against Vitality, the more impressed I am when they have so much pressure against them. Lovely performance there from LG, good save though. They've got so much pressure against them. So many teams exclusively wanting them to lose. They are the least popular team in EU right now, Sillery.
Yeah.
There's like a band of baying sharks beneath them saying, go on, I dare you to jump in the water. And they are steadfastly refusing, even when they start off a little bit slow in a series, and then the performance they were putting in towards that game 3
Prolongation.
was great. Yeah, just
What a cute. I've
keeping
never seen
themselves
that.
going.
It makes sense, doesn't it? It's like some French words. I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that one means. Oh,
No,
Atomic.
Atomic. Oh, my heart hurts,
So close.
buddy. You deserved it.
That would have been game 5 as well. So
Yeah.
Luminosity really bringing it to them, trying to get the reverse sweep into full gear, but it's not going to happen. Nolly with a banger to the bottom left, and that is another win in the spring split for Karmine Corp.
Oh, oh no, it wasn't the pre-flip. It was the
Jeez.
Nailed the
delayed
shot.
one.
Oh wow.
Lovely.
That's tough. That's tough. I still feel bad for Atomic. I really wanted that to go in for him. I wanted game 5, I'll be honest, but that's okay. You can't be bad at K-Corp. Everyone at home who loves K-Corp. Like you said, Cole, you want to see Astral on land. There's one step closer. Who knows what happens throughout the rest of the bracket, but that does conclude all of the upper round 1 matches. So that means when we come back, we're going to take a little time, figure out exactly what game we're going to go into in the upper quarterfinals. And then after that, we'll play the lower round and the lower round 2. So give us a few minutes. Let's figure out what's going to happen here. And when we come back, we'll have more of the Super 16 regional here on Rocket League.
The World Championship is where the greats become legendary.
But if I'm for the ground. I close my eyes and I wait for the come down. I used to live in the now. Now I'm wiser to think that we are bulletproof. Teens with thicker skin, now we just bruise. We were hopeless and we're hopeless now. But I remember we threw our face in the air singing. I remember when we were kids, never scared, yeah. And the sky went dark, we used our hearts to guide us. You showed me you care. And I remember, yeah, I remember. Now, but I remember we threw our face in the air singing. I remember when
Way, jeez.
Welcome back to the Super 16.
No, anything is fine. Jeez, what a lovely voice you have.
Yeah. It's myself, Cole, and Johnny Boy. We had a little bit of a hiccup there at the start. My fault, but we've figured it out. We've arrived at round 2 of the upper bracket here in the Super 16, and it's going to be a juicy one. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket. I think for you specifically, Johnny, round 1 went about as exactly as predicted.
Yeah, I was getting accused last night. I did my predictions live on my stream, and everybody's saying, your predictions are so boring, Johnny. Oh, make a more exciting bracket. And I'm saying, all these people who are predicting Dignitas to make a run are just hoping that they make a run. I'm going to say that they just lose round 1, and they did, because I've not seen anything this split from them
Unlucky.
that's led me to think that they're going to be Semper, who are just very consistently top 8. So that's probably where the upper bracket ends, though, for Semper, in my opinion, and that's going to be a less controversial one, running into BDS. But I think the main things to watch off this stream, so we're going to be following the match at the top of the bracket, but you definitely want to keep an eye on what is happening with Endpoint, because if Endpoint can get an upset over KC, that would be huge for their landing chances. I think that's more... anything's easier to see happening than somebody being BDS these days. So as much as I'd love to see Semper continuing the upper bracket match, putting pressure on Solary, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's looking unlikely, isn't it, for anyone to beat BDS. Semper, though, they got themselves a win in that first game against Dignitas. It's going to be tough for Dignitas to bounce back in the lowers, which we'll get to a little bit later on. But yeah, I mean, as you said earlier on, Achieves, every series is of vital importance right now, especially the one that we're going to be casting. Solary, they are just, it's the Solary show today, Achieves.
Yes, the rematch from the Dacia Spring Cup with Solary versus Moist. It ended up going the distance, with Moist eking out a narrow victory. It's our second feature match of the day. Solary asked and answered a little earlier if they're looking in excellent form today, and most people agreed yes, they're a huge problem for people outside the top 5 currently with how good they looked versus Vitality. Could be a little bit of a different story here. I don't really expect Moist to get boxed in quite as much. So I'm interested to see how they handle Rise, Joyo, and Vatira, even if Moist has been on a little bit of a slip here recently, Johnny.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. This is going to be very telling, not just for Solary, but also for Moist. Moist haven't had the best split, but they're still sitting pretty on almost the top of the point standings. So a bad split for them is still pretty good. It's still amazing for any team not named BDS. But Solary looked phenomenal today. Will Moist be able to step up and beat them. Because I think the Solary we just saw would be good enough to beat Moist that we've seen for most of this split. I've not been all that impressed with Moist, but it is Moist. If they can play up to their best, I think they beat Solary no matter what Solary do. So, that's the thing that all of the neutrals are going to be hoping for. Moist to just win, Solary go to lower bracket, and suddenly we've got a bunch of scenarios to talk about. But if Solary win this, they are almost not guaranteed, but with the success of BDS, Team Liquid, KC, it's hard to imagine anybody taking this spot away from them if they could beat Moist here.
I mean,
how are you feeling about this?
I was gonna say that I was pretty down on Moist Esports in that second regional. Their body language, for lack of a better word, obviously we can't see them, just didn't seem great based on their tweets, based on how they were playing, based on how they would start so slowly in these series and still find a way to win because they are brilliant. But it seemed that they were relying on their brilliance too much as opposed to just their solidity and happiness within the team. Their performance in the first match of this tournament hopefully says that they are back to their smiley, happy selves and things will work for them. But I don't want to see them have to rely on those individual moments too much, because that can only take you so far, especially when you're up against a team that is playing as smoothly as Solary are today. So as you said, Johnny, we're going to have to see Moist pretty much close to their best to beat Solary on this form.
Well, let's go ahead and give you guys at home a chance to get your thoughts in. We're going to do the Twitch fan prediction, not exclamation point, hashtag MST for Moist and hashtag SLY for Solary. It was about a 50-50 split for Vitality when we did the last one, slightly in favor of them. But do we think that Moist is popular enough to swing it back the other way, or were people convinced by Solary? What do you think?
Well, this is definitely going to be a Moist fan vote. There's no doubt. They're one of the most popular teams in the world. They're, I think Moist and Carmine Corp, they're the two most ridiculously popular teams in EU right now. So they're going to win fan votes against pretty much anyone. I mean, maybe BDS actual dominance will cause people to try harder the fan vote, but yeah, seeing a lot of MSTs in chat right now. That's not surprising. Even though Solary is another team with a big fan base out there, Moist are just ridiculous. Such a passionate fan base, such a great team.
What Achieves just did was the hosting equivalent of there being like a 4-goal difference with 30 seconds left, and casters saying, "Oh, could this be the comeback?" And it's like, no, we know it's not going to be the comeback. And
wait till this one says 60-40 for Solary. Just wait.
I'd love it. I would love you to be right, Achieves. Nothing would give me more pleasure, but I think this is
while we let everybody vote, let's go ahead and go down the line for predictions. I'll start. I think I'm probably going to favor... I was going to say Moist, but now I'm second guessing myself right before I say it. I did like the way Solary looked, but I am skeptical about Solary's ability to keep their position going. So I'm going to take Moist. How about you, Cole?
I'll go with Moist as well. I think that Solary, maybe this is the moment that the pressure finally gets to them and they'll just start tumbling down that results table. But I've been proven wrong before, so maybe I will again.
Yeah, I've got Moist as well. I'm just going to make a quick little sweep on the desk here.
Twitch chat, how did you do? We went across the board. It's 70. Not 60-40.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, not quite.
71-29. Unfortunately, yes. Johnny Boy is proven right once again. So let's go ahead and get into our second feature match of the day. Johnny, Cole, take it away.
Thank you so much, Achieves. Moist Esports versus Solary. We've already seen Solary manage to get through one of the big tasks that were faced upon them today in making that top 5. Now they go into their second one, Johnny, and they're up against Moist Esports or Solary, and this is going to be, you'd expect, a tougher proposition than against Vitality earlier.
Definitely, but so far so good. A Solary classic with one 50-50 going their way, another 50-50 going their way, and then a shot on target, which can't be defended. We're right back to regional number 1, Solary Farm, controlling 50-50s to their advantage. You got to be very careful lunging into challenges against these guys. They're really good at manipulating the ball towards teammates, almost turning 50-50s into passes.
And of course, the last time these two played, there was an absolute, or maybe not the last time they played, but certainly that Regional 1 event that you were talking about was a monumental classic going all the way to 7 games until Moist won it out in overtime. It was when they still had their phenomenal Game 7 and Game 5 story. Did Moist, I think they won about, 13 in a row or something? Game 7s and Game 5s? Something crazy like that. That's now gone, rest in peace. But these teams will remember events like that, and they'll remember moments like that, and Solary would love to get something back on Moist for knocking them out of that first regional.
Yeah, they did beat them twice, that regional. The upper bracket match, of course, the one you're referring to, was unreal. One of the best series of the entire split, but second time around, Mice were just too good. They were just on a different level. And that's the kind of Mice that are, I think, on the level of their own. Well, level of just them and BDS and EU when they can show up like that. Still waiting to see if Team Liquid and KC can consistently threaten to rise to that kind of level. But so far, Solary are extremely aggressive in the matchup as another challenge goes somewhat their way. Mice all over it. Rise looking to send a shot behind the goalkeeper. Mike Boy stays with him. Already we're seeing passing plays out of defense from Solary. That's promising. Something that they didn't bring into the Vitality series until the second game got started. Bit of a flat-footed position there for last man back, but they've escaped unscathed.
Yeah, we didn't see anything like that from Mike Boy up against Vitality. He always seemed so supremely confident, even when the Vitality players were bearing upon him. So to see him there looking a little bit hesitant was rare from him on today's form. Maybe a bad sign, but credit to him. He managed to recover and got away with it. But look at the positioning of Vatira. So close to that ball there. And he gets a couple of touches to the backboard only. Gets himself in the way somehow, but still is followed home by Rise. That's just brilliant play from every player involved.
Yeah, Vatira had the tight angle double tap, only with the pre-jump to catch it. And then Rise turning around and finishing the job. Really glad that Rise scored that just so we could see the save again on the replay. So that was a brilliant stop out of Oli. And Mike Boy wasn't far away from blocking Rise's shot there. So very tight margin for error here as Moist equalize.
Yeah, you don't want to have to score goals like that every single time. You want some easy ones and some freebies. Maybe that demo from Rise on Mike Boy will be what starts one for Moist. Here's Joyo coming in up against Oli. But Oli stands tall yet again, and Mike Boy can use all of his boost, which isn't that much, just to get the ball back onto the blue half. It's decent play from Solary. They've managed to get themselves back into this one after conceding a goal and looking like Moist are about to step up and really show their dominance against them. Oli wants to come in, but leaves it for Mike Boy. Rise clears it into the center. All clean touches here for Solary, and they are having a lot of the ball as Moist just wait, standing there like sprinters on the block, ready to charge forwards. Solary managed to hold off. Oli had a chance to shoot. Can he get it? But Tira misses.
Oli just slotted in the tight angle shot. He didn't expect those 50-50 to come across that quickly. Just got there in time. Vatira with no boost was trying to just pinch that one off his own post, and he just narrowly misses it. I think he might have just touched it the slightest amount, but not enough to keep it out of the net. Still, great shot coming out of Oli there, and another instance of a 50-50 or a challenge resulting in a goal for Solary. They just keep on making it happen.
And the counter-attack game seems to be working for them really well right now as well. Just letting Moist shoot their shot and then coming down the other end. And even if they have half a chance, they are taking it. But that's great pace there from Rise. It was. And he gets demoed as well, but it doesn't matter because it finds its way home.
Yeah, great read from Rise. He saw the back pass coming, pounced on it, and Oli it was on the retreat, just didn't have enough pace, didn't have enough boost to get back for it. Rise scores his second goal of the game, Moist's second goal of the game. Great just interception, as the back pass would have been quite comfortable for Solary. Oli now trying to pass to himself after the kickoff. Vatira is able to keep the ball into the corner, though knows that there's not really any point in centering that ball. Wouldn't have had any follow-ups. A smart play by Tho to just slow down there, try to take control, but Moist have capitalized. Now they start the counter-attack.
They're going to keep it going as well with Rise there, putting that one into the corner, but Tho is the only player within a 100-mile radius. So can attempt to get a pass towards Oli, but more good speed there from Vatira, who maybe should have saved that second goal that came in from Solary from the angle. Seemed like a bit of a misplay from him, in my opinion, despite the quality of the finish. But we continue to attack for Moist. Vatira bundles that ball past the goal onto the back wall, and Solary now just starting to get a little bit pinned back. Joe's going to catch this one. Throws underneath him. Can Solary? Yeah, it seems that when Solary do manage to get the ball forwards, what they're doing is they are pushing forwards like as a trio to try and keep Moist penned back. And it's whether they can manage that because it's a high-risk play.
There's 2 goals from Solary from challenges, and I think Moist are remembering that. They're being very careful about when they dive in to clatter the ball. You know, versus some teams, you just want to force as many challenges as you can because they're just not going to be comfortable with that aggression, but Solary are so good at absorbing it. Moist are picking their battles a little bit more carefully now. Now 2v1 briefly. Vatira able to dive in and assert his authority. Solary bringing all that form that they showed earlier on in the day against Vitality to a much important matchup. Moist also looking consistent, looking scary. Rise now with a double tap downwards, though. Easily able to guide it into the corner.
A smart play there from Moist to do what you said, Johnny, and change their game style. But Solar will be so happy that they have made Moist Esports change their play style. That is the fear that they seem to be bringing with them so far in this tournament, as game one seems to be trickling towards an overtime. I'm sure this one will drop. It does indeed. What an intriguing start to this series. Best of 5, potentially 5 games ahead of us. It's all going to start right here with this first overtime as Vatira comes in from the side and slows things down. Wants to get the perfect first touch. And actually doesn't quite manage it, but does manage to get a touch on Foe, which is going to make things really awkward here from Solary in defense. Can Moist make some more magic happen? Joyo's a little bit awkward again, and that attack, it was just awkward from the start. Like, almost turned it into something, but it never seemed likely.
Yeah, ball not sitting too well there for Moist. Oh, look at this. Joyo's having a pre-jump to block Mike Boy's shot. Ended up a bit sideways to that position. Now Mike Boy wishes he had boost. That was a delicious setup waiting to happen. So far in overtime, most of the potential aerials, potential off the wall and off the ceiling plays have been stopped simply by the ball being too awkwardly placed. Now Rise coming in looking for the hat trick. Mike Boy denies.
Yeah, lovely second touch as well, Mike Boy, to keep himself within distance of the ball and behind that ball. So important with 2 Moist players coming forwards. Vatira wants to wrap himself around this one. A huge demo from Rise in the corner. Now, can Vatira get the pace to find Rise in the corner? Eventually he does. Fire a hit and a pop and a touch, and Rise does get a shot. Mike Boy, again, on hand in defense, doing so much work and getting the demo as well. Just ask the question of Vatira, who more than has the answer to tee himself up off the backboard. Moist starting to waken up here. Their touches are improving. Oli's one, a little bit shaky looking. And now Joy from the side. Moist have got more boost. They've got the attacks. They've got, a huge breezy flick there. And Mike Boy places it to the side.
Yeah, key boost steal there from Joyo to slow the defense down and also set up his own ceiling shot play there. Moist completely dominating the territory in overtime, but Solary making the key defensive touches that they need to. Now Mike Boy breaks free, though positioned well to the side as they continue to pass the ball out of defense. Well, how about that for a defensive pinch? Rise going to lunge and force the issue from Solary once again. Vatira doubles past one. He's got the triple tap here, but those blocked him.
Great save there from Foe, but that's all that Solary really seems to have right now. Great saves, which eventually are going to be undone. Joyo slots it home, and Moist take game one.
A 0 boost for Oli there. Tho with 9 behind him. Mike Boy actually accidentally driving into his teammate there in the back corner. Chaos ensued after the Moist pressure continued to come through. And Solary, they hung pretty well there for most of the game, but overtime was completely dominated by Moist.
Yeah, ended up being a tactical masterclass from Moist Esports there. I wondered if playing Solary's game would play into Solary's hands, but it did seem that they played it perfectly in slowing down during regulation time and then in overtime suddenly just throwing everything at the ball, going all out aggression, and Solary didn't really seem to have an answer. But what a first game that was. I loved that save from Oli. In fact, I love this entire goal. It was just quality play. And Achieves, you're a man who loves quality play. What did you make of that first game?
I think that first game was quite good. I'm very happy to see Solary put on such a good offensive performance, really force Moist to go through the paces on defense, make sure they're playing consistently. So I thought game one was awesome. In terms of things around the league, Guild absolutely lit up Liquid 4-0 in game one, and then Liquid big counter punch here in game two, leading 5-2 with about a minute and a half left in game two. So big back and forth between those guys. BDS squeezing out a win against Simper in game one. And of course, Simper currently up 2-1 in game two. So a little back and forth there as well. And Endpoint keeping K-Corp at arm's length, up 1-0 with a one game lead in the series as well with about a minute left. So Karmine Corp kind of struggling against Endpoint.
It's all getting really interesting right now. Yeah, with Solary looking like they're going to be up against a huge mountain in Moist Esports right now. Endpoint stepping up, Karmine Corp already probably likely to make the major. There's just so many interesting permutations, Johnny Boy, happening right now.
And this is the perfect upper quarterfinal for Endpoint. It's not only are they winning against Karmine Corp, but Solary are losing. And if Solary lose this and then lower round two later on today, that would leave the gate wide open for an Endpoint run. I think they'd need 4th place to tie Solary in that instance, which is, I think, something they're capable of. They just need one more series win after today. Top 6 is guaranteed if you win an upper quarter final. That's what's being fought for at the moment between both these teams. Mike Boy with first big chance of the game, and he takes it. Credit for Oli's pass as well. Absolutely nailed that one. Had all of Moist completely caught off guard with the quick change in direction.
What a start to game 2 for Solary there. Yeah, exactly. Again, being asked questions and having the answer as the pressure around them continues to bubble up. Solary doing everything right so far today. He's at the start of the second game, but Rise has got a chance to take a touch here. From the kickoff, he tries to fake out Oli. That would have been really special, but Oli just about got a touch. That was not an easy situation he was put in, and he did very well indeed.
Yeah, he knew that there wouldn't be too much on a flick if he went for it with no boost in that position. So he tried to, I think, run ahead of the ball and just bump Oli out of the way. Very surprising play, but Oli did so well to see it coming. Creates one goal, prevents the equalizer from Moist at the other end. Bit Olery so far today, but you know, we might still see Tholery or Mike Bowlery if they can actually make the comeback here against Moist.
Look, I love a third man, and Mike Bowlery, he's been my player as Rise can't quite get on target twice. More posts, more crossbars on the mainstream. We have seen far too many today. There's a couple more to add to the collection, but it will give Moist a bit of a shot in the arm. They'll come forward again, Joy over flip reset. Then just get on the end of Mike Boy's hit downwards. Couldn't quite force it. Tira is just hinting at Foe that he could go for a bump or a demo. Moist showing they can change their approach if needed, trying to go a little bit more aggressively than they were in the first game, which is all about the mechanics. But Solary escape again. There's Mike Boy. He might have made it 2, and he has. Wow, just out of nothing.
Yeah, Rise was last man back here, drove into no man's land, and it couldn't recover for the shot. I have to think that surely Rise expected Vatira to recover more quickly behind him, for him to drive up that far and force the long shot. I mean, if you're forcing a long shot and you know your last man back, you turn a lot quicker than that, so you can actually save the long shot. But there, it looked like he was expecting Vatira to be back a little bit faster than he actually was. Now Joya looking for a big mechanical play, sends it on target, though. Backflips and actually gets a great bounce there to keep the ball in a safe location. You know, if things don't improve in this game for Joyo, and the one aspect that I'm closely looking at is flip resets. If he doesn't start to land flip resets, I think he's making a car change, because this guy's got such high standards for himself that if he doesn't make at least 1 or 2 big mechanical plays a game, car change will be coming. But it's not been the big mechanical plays, it's been more about the positioning so far for Moist downfall in game 2.
Well, that would be one of the all-time great Johnny Boy predictions if Joyo changes his car for game number 3 because his flip resets aren't quite there, but his gameplay isn't quite there. In fact, it's not at all for Moist right now. Solary showing more of the form that they had against Vitality. Look at this pace from Mike Boy, and then Oli was on the spot.
Joyo worried about the direct shot there, but the infield pass, the more deadly option, still very well done from Solary. They are doing such an unbelievable job in this second game. It's making life difficult for Moist. This is something that they need to keep doing, but Moist are going to get one back. Wide open net for Vatira.
Really important goal there as well for Moist. This game was just looking like they couldn't land a glove at all, but that demo from Joyo, the sort of demo that makes you not want to change your car despite what Johnny Boy says. Huge in just shaking them out, waking them up a little bit, reminding them there is still 2 minutes and 16 seconds in this game over here on beautiful Aquadome, so lots of time to get yourself back in it as Rise goes up. Joyo's below him to go for the pass. We'll try and go for a 50-50. It's a 50-50. And Oli just puts it on a plate for himself. Tremendous attacking play there from him. Just to make it so that Moist can't come forward anymore. It's like, it's those blocks, those charges down that must make Solary so frustrating to play against.
Yeah, they are a very awkward team to go up against. The style that they play is just so consistent. And they don't really take any huge risks. There's just always another player in front of the ball for you to get past. And rarely giving away open nets, really giving away uncontested touches on the ball. It just really grinds on you if you have to play against this, because eventually, if you make a mistake, you know that they're going to be there to punish you. They're always sending one, and rarely double commit. Joyo is narrowly missing a double tap there. Rise tends to rebound wide as well. Rise with the big opportunities for Moist that have actually gone wayward in game 2.
Here's Vatira. Can he get something going? That one just goes out to the side. Oli, are you in the target line of Vatira? Just about. So Oli has to scramble to get that ball. Good demoing play there from Moist. One demo came in, the other one was hinted at, and it does open things up. Solary suddenly look a little bit scattered and rushed. Depending on Oli's touch here, he's actually faked it, but it will only go as far as Vatira. If there could be a bump or a demo here on Mike Boy, they could be in trouble, Solary. But Mike Boy manages to avoid it and get the clean touch. He just seems to be the epitome of Solary's gameplay today, Mike Boy. As the demos rain in, he is always there on hand to get the block on the all-important touch. And again, sending it away with 36 seconds left, teeing up his more mechanical teammates in Oli and Tho. And he just makes it single-handedly so difficult. And then when you get past him, Oli's got the pre-jumps going on.
That was a ridiculous read from Oli. He left the bottom left corner of his own net completely wide open, just predicting that Vatira would pass instead of shooting from that distance. That's a read that's going to send them into game number 3 with a series all tied up against Moist. Great stuff defensively. They've read the bumps really, really well this game. They've read the Moist plays really well. Unfortunately for Moist, they've not been all there mechanically. I think that we very well could see a car change out of Joyo here because he's, usually he's the most mechanical player on any pitch he's on. He's just so fluid with every move. But he's had a couple of awkward looking resets here in this game. I don't think he's to blame at all. I'm merely pointing out that with his impeccable standards, he might be disappointed with how his mechanics are playing. And Rise as well with a couple of shots that were strangely inaccurate for the guy who usually sends everything into the top corner, especially in 0 seconds.
I'm going to be so excited if Joyo does change his car. But in the meantime, Achieves, any other interesting games? What are you looking out for yourself as these ones run on?
Well, Team Liquid continuing to press real hard, 4-0 over Guild with about 30 seconds left. So they continue to absolutely stomp moving forward into game 4. BDS has managed to fight off Simper winning a game in the series. They're currently tied 2-2 in game 3 with BDS going up 2-0 after equalizing and winning in overtime. And Endpoint, still a problem for K-Corp. K-Corp just tied it up with about 45 seconds, and K-Corp pretty much needs a win. And there's a lot on the line for that one because it potentially puts Vitality and K-Corp en route to play each other if Vitality wins over Gross Noobs in their lower round matchup. So a lot of interesting things if Endpoint can bounce out K-Corp here.
So, sorry, was that 2-0 to Endpoint and K-Corp in games?
Ooh, yes,
wow.
It's crazy. 2-0.
Yeah, the cat is being thrown amongst the pigeons right now. But I mean, Solary, they are doing everything that's needed continually. It might be that we're talking about Endpoint, we're talking about Vitality, we're talking about all these teams, and Chief Solary will just make it so like, we needn't have bothered.
Well, that's unlucky if you're outside the top 5.
Yeah, exactly. It's your fault. You got no one to blame but yourself.
Yeah, you should have just won more games. Points. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
BDS going to put in 4-2 with 2 minutes left. Oof. Rip Simper. They've actually been looking pretty good in that series. It's pretty disappointing to see Simper not be able to come away with a win, but are we really that surprised? they have to try for the 3-peat, right? It's got to be through the upper bracket.
Yeah, exactly. G2 couldn't manage it, so BDS, they will be the ones to get. Is that what we're calling it, the 3-peat? I thought that's a very...
Yes, it would be the 3-peat.
Beautiful thing. I thought we were about to start in this game, but a pause has been requested by Tho. I feel like this is going to frustrate Moist a lot more than it will Solary having to take a break. Because I feel like Moist are a team that just want to get on with it, really just get the momentum going, get the mechanics working. So Solary will be, not too disappointed to have to spend an extra 30 seconds or so just chilling and talking things through.
I've got a confession, by the way. Joyo, by looks of things, has not changed his car. I've had a quick look. The game has not yet started. We're paused on 5 minutes remaining, and Joyo's in the same car. So I'm interested to see if he's going to level up mechanically. His flip resets are usually automatic, and they didn't look automatic in the last game. He was really having to think about it and having to use a lot of boost to just get back to the ball in some situations. So curious to see how he goes in the Fennec. It's not his usual pick. He tends to be more of an Octane player.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I just see RLCS referee number 1 say, go, but don't touch the ball. And the kickoff starts. 4 of them get as close to the ball as they can and veer away at the last second. Vatira just pre-flips into it and just spams, sorry.
Oh, boy.
Well. It's just every time. Who would be an admin,
It's hard work. It's like wrangling cats being an admin. It really is.
Oh, dear.
Oh, BDS, they're up 4-3 with a minute left. So as we get into this one, Simper looking to make a slightly delayed entrance into the lower bracket.
Well, this time they were allowed to touch the ball, and they all managed to do it. So congratulations to all 6 of these players. As game 3 begins of the series at a very intriguing point. Moist looking like they have the mechanical edge, but Solary pretty much entirely nullifying that sharp edge that they do have. They are performing so well, Solary, continually, but can Moist step up, Johnny? Because they've got more in the tank than what we're seeing.
Yeah, Solary have been the more consistent team today. There's no denying that. Moist up and down so far this series. That's a great passing play. Pre-flip from Joyo. Sends it to the bottom left. Phenomenal vision coming out of Joyo to get this one started. Rise off to the right of him. They were the two remaining players for Moist in that play, with Vatira having to recover on the left-hand side of the screen. So it's a great commitment coming out of Moist. Immediately back on track, and they are just going to get back to cover the kickoff goal, which has been the better of so many teams in the recent tournaments.
For all of Solary's defensive brilliance, one thing they have seemed somewhat weak to as Oli comes forward. That's a chance to shoot. Joyo tries to make himself as big as possible in the goal, but can't do too much. I'll continue in a second because Solary have played this one really well, continuing the attack still until Joyo gets one of those automatic flip resets with that Fennec. And I was going to say, the little quick pass into the center seems to be able to open up Solary every now and then. Vitality looks quite likely on scoring from it, and now Moist at the start of this game, just hitting it to the middle, changing the angle, making it so the solid defending is just in the wrong position. That seems to be one way to unlock Solary.
Mike Boy, clean beat on Vatira. Oh dear, Rise is out of position again, and he's made to look quite silly by a simple pass that didn't even go too far overhead. That is so careless from Rise again. Joyo lost control of the play, but Rise to be this close to his second man while Vatira is still recovering. It makes you wonder what is going on in the Moist comms right now. It's usually that kind of missed touch from Joyo would be communicated early. That kind of hit would be communicated early enough for Rise to know that he has to stall and know that he has to turn back. But clearly that wasn't the case. He turned upfield and open net was easily secured by Solary.
They also lose yet another lead to Moist, so any chance they have of making a statement in this series has gone right there and then as Rise approaches the near post to clear this one away. Got no boost, but still getting the ball first as far as slow, and then bumps him out of the way. That's brilliant play from Rise. Not quite making up for his mistake for the goal, but doing so much work to begin to make that happen. Oli does manage to win it clearly, so the attack in the end from Moist does come to nothing, and Oli shows his own speed, getting an unexpected touch. So these teams underestimating each other pace-wise every now and then. As Joyo comes up, can he get the second touch? He can. He get the third one, not quite. Mike Boyd predicted the miss and predicted correctly.
Yeah, even for Joyo, that's an extremely difficult triple tap to be making at that kind of speed. Rise off the bar, still struggling to find the net with his shots, if that was indeed an intended shot on target. It could have just been a backboard pass intentionally, of course. Joyo finds Tho on the back wall. He's trying to look for any kind of gap on the back wall there to send a double tap towards. Solary covering all angles right now.
Vatira slows it down. Oh, Tho has managed to avoid the bump as well. So many teams are trying to do that against Solary, and it's just not quite working because they pre-jump the bump, as it were, and still manage to stay in the way to get a touch on the ball. Brilliant defending from them. But Moist are going to keep on coming forward. Vatira wants this one to bounce in front of him, but doesn't quite read it. Has to adjust himself. Still manages to get it over the first player. Mike Boy is left going for that ball, but Rise is going to equal him to it. So Moist still trying to just get as much control of this ball as possible, even if Solary are getting in the way of absolutely everything. Like Tho there, and the 50-50 is clean. Joyo can't do a thing, and Solary end up coming out with it. Mike Boy backflipped instead of touching it, but just another example of how Solary can lull you into a false sense of security and then be so dangerous. And what a touch that was from Mike Boy.
He got bumped into that position as well.
Yeah.
A recovery as well from Mike Boy. That's ridiculous to just shrug off all this pressure that Moister's sending towards them. Oh, Vatira pass two. Fantastic recovery. Oli knows not to commit, but Vatira's faked him as well. Backboard pass for Joyo, who decides to flip away from the play as he was getting beaten to the ball. That was a real burst of life now from Moist, and it's continued. Rise double. Vatira looking for the 50-50 on the goal line. That being Solary's strong point on every part of the pitch, not just offense.
It's starting to look a little bit like that game one overtime with Solary penned back and Moist looking like they have a huge advantage mechanically. It's just being a question of when they can make it count. Right, so there's a little bit boost off here. Still manages to get a great 50-50 on Mike Boy and send that one into the center. And then the attempted dunk is missed. Vatira can get a couple of touches. Tho is in so quickly. Vatira is teed up by Rise. Great passing. Been a couple of brilliant passes so far in this game from Moist. So he brings it away. Mike Boy is just watching Rise, daring him to go to the ball, saying, as soon as you do, I'm going to bump you. There's a chance for a redirect. It hits the post. And Mike Boy is beaten by Rise. This could be a chance for Moist. Mike Boy has to try and come back. Rise takes him out. Only a few seconds left in this game. Patir is passed or shot. Is not really either. And Mike Boy can slow things down again.
Stillery trying to guide the ball into the ground on 0 seconds now, but they've got one more attack to contend with. Joyo with the flip reset secured, double, and heading back to the ball afterwards. But Tho takes it away from him, and they're not just looking for the ground anymore. They're going for goal. Vatira will save it, and into overtime we go. Series tied at 1-1. What a critical game 3 this is. Stillery can get ahead in this one. The road to London is clear.
Second overtime of the series. As I mentioned, the first one had Moist completely stepping up as soon as it began. But this one has Stillery starting off the faster here. As Mike Boy goes around the corner, Joyo is going to be able to win this one clearly. But Vatira, he wasn't quite sure whether he had him going for the ball or not. So the touch wasn't perfect in the corner, allowing Stillery to come through. But that's a much better, more decisive, more incisive touch there from Vatira. Rise wants to get this dunk on goal. Mike Boy dribbles it away. Tho in the air, wins it almost cleanly, but Rise was there from the side. Now it's Soli. He gets a shot away. Joyo's up. Joyo follows it, but Joyo doesn't quite get it. So Stillery getting some clean touches. Moist having more of the ball, but Stillery looking slightly more dangerous when they do get it.
It's a patient Moist at the moment. Is that going to be the way to play versus Stillery? I think I've realized that they were conceding a couple of cheap goals by just mispositioning their third man, and they're trying not to let that happen again. Now Oli's got a free shot. He decides to aim bottom left and misses, but Tho's in quick for the follow-up. Boost not looking too great for Moist. Infield pass from Tho. Mike Boy a bit too close.
Yeah, Moist, I think they were waiting for Tho to hit that one, had no fear of him going for it, and it was the right decision from them. But slowly we're going to try and keep the attack going until Rise. A couple of touches. Vatira's already up. Rise is waiting in the center, seeing if Mike Boy will make a mistake. Good luck with that today, the way Mike Boy's playing. Here's Oli. He's got a lot of boost. He can get over the top of Vatira here, but to no avail because Rise can come forward. Tho's going to get in the air as well. Lots of 50-50 challenges. Clean challenges in the sky. And we know who's going to be the favorite there. It's going to be Stillery, but Joey manages to get it past cleanly. Wants to get it past Tho as well. More good defending from Tho, but it only goes as far as Vatira. Mike Boy for once has missed.
Ooh.
And Rise is there. As soon as Mike Boy falls, so too does Stillery.
The interception from Vatira was just too good. And one misread from Mike Boy gives Moist another overtime win. The Kings of Clutch in EU continue to impress when the pressure peaks. But this is not the only big news coming out of the upper quarter final. I think we've got some more coming in with the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. What's happening with Endpoint?
Oh, it was tragic.
Oh no!
K-Corp put in an awesome overtime winner in game 3. They went to game 5. They were ahead. And Endpoint finds an equalizer and score with 24 seconds left to knock K-Corp down into the lower bracket.
Wow.
For the 2-1 victory. So huge win for Endpoint.
Yeah.
And as for Liquid and Guild managed to get pushed around in games 3 and 4, but they've managed to go all the way to game 5 somehow, some way. And they're currently up 1-0 with about 4 minutes left. So it's bonkers there in the upper bracket.
What is happening? We're wondering, our Team Liquid and K-Corp now consistently top 4. They're both struggling. K-Corp already losing in the upper quarterfinals to Endpoint. That is a huge result for Endpoint. If Moist can take down Stillery will pretty much be playing for their life in the lower bracket. Well, they will be in this tournament, but an exit lower round 2 in this tournament will give you only 130 points into the overall rankings, and that is not a comfortable position for Stillery to be in. That's what they got last time around. They want to be getting a lot more than that because Endpoint at the moment are only, let me just make sure I've got this exactly right. They're only behind by 90, actually. They're only 90 points behind Stillery. So getting 130, that means that Endpoint would be able to leapfrog Stillery with a top 4 finish. And they're just one step away from that right now.
And one thing you do not want to have to do is get 2 games in a row against Moist to begin to avoid that happening. Stillery have to do exactly that. It's going to be a tough journey here, but they just keep answering these questions. Oli with the early goal for Stillery.
Oh, that's crazy. The fact he was able to get that ball lifted up over the top of Joyo to kickstart this air dribble is a huge surprise. It looked like he was above the ball, but he dove back down underneath. Continued air rolling through it to bang it on target. Well, past every single Moist player. Just massive play coming out of Solary to start off this game. Most of their goals have come from challenges, and most of their goals, as usual, have come from 50-50s. That one was this massive solo play. They've got another open net. It was something that Tho couldn't catch up to. That was a lot more Solary-esque. Just a nice 50-50 in an open net, staring right at them in the face.
You can see how much Rise was just ready for that, though. He was not wasting any time going back to defense when there were those clean challenges coming in from both teams. He knew what the chances were of things happening, and now he's got the ball himself, and he slows it down to go into the center. Good decision from him. Manages to flick it over the top of one, but Tho is attacking that one directly. He can face it there. This is more standard formation for Solary of Mike Boy in third man position. Tho, a lovely little doink self-assist there, but then can't quite get the pinch on the other side. And that's Vatira's turn. So both these teams allowing each other lots of space in the center. I think we're going to have a few goals in this one. It just seems very open to me. And every time Solary get one, it's going to make them a little bit more comfortable. And of course, vice versa, as Mike Boy challenges, gets it past Rise to get the second touch, but Joyo is up quickly. And maybe this will be a chance for a little bit of a slowdown in this game.
Well, Joyo didn't have any boost upfield there, otherwise I'm sure you would have sat in a redirect position waiting for a pass. It's not a strange thing to see Joyo lingering upfield. But now he's actually playing quite a solid defensive game for his team. It's been a very full three-man rotation for Moist today, although it may be a little bit more defensive than we're used to seeing from them, as they just try to consistently beat Solary rather than peeking on them. But they've had their moments, definitely. And looks like after that overtime winner, Rise will be done with his inaccuracy that plagued him in game number 2. Joyo just narrowly misses that last touch on the ball that would have been needed for that flick to be big. Look at the speed of Oli as he gets up for this. Thought he could sneak it past Vatira. The Frenchman declines.
Joyo's going to come forward the other side. Rise is in front of him, clearing the path, and he might also get the ball here. Rise keeps on going. Tho, despite the respawn coming in from the Solary player, was on hand to clear things away, and he's winning the ball as well. It's just instrumental right now for Solary is Tho. Him and Oli have impressed me most recently in the last couple of games. But Rise is coming forward, has Mike Boy in front of him.
What?
And when you nail the flip reset like that, it's going to trouble any defender.
That is world class from Rise. Ridiculous pop on the ball after that reset landed. And unfortunately for Solary, they are getting peaked on now. 1-1. Moist just a goal away from upper semi-finals. Solary will need to decline space a little bit better than they did there. The challenge came through to force Rise into the air, but there was nobody ready to follow up and actually challenge before Rise landed the reset. This is open now for Solary. Nobody able to get there. Vatira just guided it to the corner. That was scary for Moist, but they've escaped.
Shows their comms were high as well. Vatira need to go for the ball, but the passing play is there for Solary. Tho can't quite force the angle to get it home, but it was a lovely pass. Mike Boy in the air now. Can he peek right back? Gets the flip reset, but Joyo was already in the sky waiting for it. Tho's huge clearance is met by Oli. Massive moment in the series this right now. Oli gets another touch. Joe's at the back, hoping this one goes not too low. It'll be tricky for him. Gets a touch on the floor, and Rise not only gets the next touch, then he gets the flick, then he gets the fake. Now he wants to go over the top of Oli, but can't quite manage that one. Great play, though, from Moist, who is stepping up. Vatira, lovely touch from him as well. The first touch from Moist, so good at taking it away from a Solary player.
Yeah, they've realized that Solary are faking a lot of challenges, so if, they just take light, soft touches on the ball, they're still going to have control, and all these fake challenges from Solary really aren't doing anything. Solary have got to just dive at some point. They've got to lunge in and make Moist think about the immediate challenge at some point. So, it's great to have a system and fake followed up by real challenges, but Moist have a lot of space at the moment, and we've seen what happens in both overtimes when Moist have space.
Great clearance from Mike Boy, though. Knew exactly what Joyo was trying when it was looking like he was about to unleash the beast and put that one away. Only leaves it to Vatira. Vatira is getting more and more involved in this series and getting clean touches, which is not a good sign for Solary, with just 40 seconds left in this game. Potentially the final one. Only fakes it, wants to avoid this being the final game. Desperate for a game 5 of Solary, who do not want to fall into the mix that is the lower bracket. That'd be horrible for them. Rise could make it happen, but the ball just doesn't drop for him. Almost does for Joyo. Oli in the sky. He saw it coming. Joyo now wants to get this touch. Actually goes for bumps and tries to fake it. Still Solary get a touch. Refusing to be beaten are the 3 Dutchmen. Oli with a hit. Close there in the center. That could be a great pass. And Oli's going for a bump as well. Rise in a horrible position. Needs Vatira to help.
Keep
holding on, but this could be the chance. There's Rise. Oli can't quite get to this one. Moist finally get their goal, and there's just 6 seconds left for Solary.
In the past minute, Vatira's just gone Mach 10, absolute demon mode, zooming around the field, beating everyone to the punch, and a quick recovery completely caught Solary off guard. Vatira able to net an open net for Rise, which Rise is then able to put into the open net, surely for the win. 0-second goal needed in order for Solary's upper bracket to stay alive. There is a 0-second goal, but it's in the wrong net. Moist advanced. Stunning performance at the end of the game there from Vatira. Full pressure from Moist. Solary couldn't hang.
So the chaos that I believe Jorby predicted and wanted on Twitter looks like it's going to happen. With Solary dropping to that lower bracket, suddenly everything gets a lot more difficult for them and a lot more open for the other teams around the place if they can take their own opportunities. Achieves, is that happening?
Well, major contention for Moist? Yes, guaranteed. Big win here over Solary for them. In terms of everything else in the bracket, Liquid able to squeeze out a Game 5 win over Guild. So Guild going down to the lower bracket, as we saw Endpoint and BDS to match up in the upper semifinals come the weekend. But what a show from Moist here in Game 5 versus Solary, or Game 4 versus Solary, excuse me. I mean, really, Johnny, you said it. Full pressure, never let off the gas. Really good show.
Yeah, amazing stuff. It's the perfect scenario for Endpoint, who have advanced in the upper bracket. They've obviously got a bit of a tough challenge up ahead of them with BDS in the upper semi, but if Endpoint lose that, they'll be down into final chance basically, and it could be actually a match for the major with Endpoint, lower quarterfinal tomorrow. That will, I think, be the last match of the day, and it could be for a major spot. It all depends on what happens to Solary later on today. If Solary lose lower round 2, which will be happening today, then the door is open for Endpoint to steal their major spot away from them. So yeah, a bit of a heartbreak there for Solary, and yeah, they're going to be against a tough team down there, either Aogiri or Luminosity.
Well, Colt, any final thoughts?
Any final thoughts? It's getting really exciting. I think that it can't be denied that whoever does make it through in 5th truly deserves to, because the pressure is massive for each and every one of them, and it will put them in good stead at the LAN, I think, to have to come through this sort of challenge to make it.
Well, when we come back, the first elimination round of the Super 16 in the final regional of the European Spring Split. Joining me will be Shogun and Grigan. Thank you very much to Colt and Johnny Boy for the day. When we come back, we'll hop on board with Evil Genius's match. So you're not going to want to miss it. Stick around.
The World Championship is where the greats become legendary.
But if I'm
Welcome back, everybody, to the Super 16, the European Final Regional. Before we get to the Major in London, we've had a change of the desk crew. It's myself, Shogun, and Greg, and now we've got two more geniuses of the European scene. Welcome, both of you. Shogun, how you doing?
I just found out that Greg counts as two geniuses, so I'm doing all right.
I was going to say, it's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about Shogun and his Rocket League knowledge, but we'll take it.
Go way ahead of you on that one, pal.
Well, let's keep the ball rolling. Let's go ahead and take a look at the previous. Let's keep the ball rolling. Let's go ahead and take a look at the previous round. Let's pull up the bracket, see what the situation is. And Gregan, some real nice stuff going on for our friends over on. It's eluding me. I was just talking about it. Endpoint, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we see Liquid, Moist, and BDS in that top four, which we kind of expect based off of this split so far. And it was down to which of those other teams was going to sneak in and cause an upset. And it was Endpoint taking down Carmine Corp, probably the lowest of those four teams and the easiest to beat, especially early on in a tournament. And it's really down to Carmine Corp whether they can heat it up down in the lower bracket, because we know they've got such a good potential.
And Shogun, good things going on for Moist as well. They've done an excellent job.
Yeah, definitely so. I think the standards have been set very high for them coming into this split, and obviously the last tournament didn't really help with the overall perception of them, but they're still that team, and they're a team that are reasonably consistent in the region that it is impossible to be consistent.
Well, consistency, possible or not, we've found our way into round one of the elimination here. Let's go ahead and jump into our featured matchups. It's going to be Evil Geniuses versus Misfits. And before we get this one going, let's just go ahead and pull up the chat phone as soon as we can so we can get you guys and your thoughts ready. But this one should be interesting. Jorby has got to be so angry somewhere along the line. He's terrified that Misfits are going to go 0-2 again with EG, Catalysm, Ivan, and Rizex. Could put up a pretty stiff show here.
Yeah, I mean, we frequently see Misfits having a weak third regional in every split, and I don't want them to continue that trend because that will start to plague them in the future and for those players. But it is against Evil Geniuses, the team which they consistently come up against, they consistently have great games against, and they've been sort of equivalents for the whole of this RLCS season, and it has been Evil Geniuses who've done better generally, but now it's a chance for Misfits to prove them wrong.
Shogun, thoughts?
My thoughts are that typically you wouldn't want to be seeing each other this early in the tournament, but given where we are in the season, given where points currently stand, this is actually the number one time to start hitting up against some of your rivals because you get to ensure that they get the least amount of points possible. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Are we feeling okay, at least, about Misfits? Like, even if it has been a little spotty?
I feel like I can never feel good about Misfits because whenever I do, Jorby tells me everything wrong with them. So there's always just like that bit in the back of my mind telling them that, nah, this is a bad team, mate.
I am curious. What if there is anything that sticks out as the biggest problem for Misfits? Is there anything that's like, yeah, that's where they need to work on the most?
I think it really comes down to when they're not feeling confident and they start panicking and they start doing very simple double jump aerials at the ball, giving away the ball over and over again. Yeah. When they're feeling confident, we start to see that flare come out, especially from Cash. You know, he starts doing very high mechanical plays that no one could defend against, breaks down teams. Everyone on the team is consistent, cleans it up. And when that's not there, it seems very simple. And I think the same thing applies to Evil Geniuses, the exact same analysis there. They simplify it down when they're not feeling good.
Well, prediction time. Don't have any more wiggle room. Shogun, who you got?
I'm going to go Evil Geniuses on this one. I think they've just got that little bit more to them. And I think especially coming off a loss, EG usually bounce back better than Misfits do.
Regan?
It's tough because last time we saw these two face, it was actually Misfits, I think, who came out on top with Arju clutching up right at the end. Yeah, I feel like we both
went EG and we got it wrong. So I'm doubling down.
I'm going to go Misfits. I believe today is the day that we're going to see Cash pop off again. Like he did, I think, in the first regional of this split. Looked very good. And Misfits going to come out on top.
I refuse to split the desk. I don't have to pick because I want to see what chat picked. And that will be my vote. So whatever chat decided is I am leaning Evil Geniuses by virtue of about 60-40. Gonna be an interesting one. I think it's reasonable to assume people may be feeling a little bit more of the consistency from Evil Geniuses, if you want to call it that. But perhaps there's more doubt in Misfits than it is consistency from Evil Geniuses. But either way you dice it, we gotta go ahead, get into our first elimination matchup. It's Evil Geniuses versus Misfits. Shogun and Gregan, take it away.
I didn't know we could get away with not predicting. I'm stealing that one for tomorrow. we do get ourselves into this elimination one, and it's something that's been difficult to kind of digest today, Greg, and is that this is the end of the season for some of these teams. It really has flown by, especially in comparison to what Season X felt like at times. This, on the other hand, just feels like I really want more of it, and I'm sure some of these teams would want a couple more opportunities as well.
Yeah, and that's going to add to the nerves for these players. This could be the final time they play together. It could be the final time they play under their org. It could be the final time they can compete this higher level in RLCS if one of them doesn't bounce back as well. So there's a lot of pressure here to not only prove it today, but to prove it for the future. And RG coming in, clean shot off the back of a Cash outplay.
Yeah, Cash just doing everything right there and nobody able to really respond. This is the tournament to really get it done for. Some of these teams still fighting to make it over to London, to make it over to Worlds. Other teams, it's just about auditions, really. Leaving the season on the best possible note to set yourself up well for next season. Oh, and the way you do that is by creating some plays, and there was definitely an attempt to create one there. Cash once again, when the pressure on, has been really positive at the way that he started this game, actually. Cash willing to put this game on his shoulders. I do like that version of Cash. It's just as long as he can sort of deliver on the play style that he's going for. So far he has.
Yeah, Cash has got two different modes. One mode where he's going crazy like he is right now and just rushing everything, being very mechanical. And the other one where he's sitting off the ball, waiting for his opportunity to come in and do a big 100 boost play. And right now it seems like he's got that sort of angry, frustrated play style where he's just really coming in and trying to put the team on his shoulders.
Yeah, we call that lower bracket Cash. We've just lost one. We might see the other one if they get a couple of wins back to back. Maybe see them in tomorrow. RG currently on the wall. He will have Mitane in the option midfield. Doesn't actually go for it. I do appreciate just the positioning of Mitane there. Force Catalysm to hold back very slightly. Make sure he covers both angles. Now Mitane has to try and block away a couple of players as he's bumped on his attempted retreat back. Ivan here. First real offense for EG. Cash missed it. Arju did not make the same mistake. Cash straight back up. Makes up for it. And now it's the breakaway, but Arju can't get any more. Other player.
Yeah, just a little bit of simple observation here. It seems like Misfits are playing at a higher tempo, higher speed, and that's really forcing Evil Geniuses to rush their touches and not be as confident on what they want to do. And the recovery speed has been just that much better from Misfits, allowing them to, even when they miss the challenge, come back in for another one quickly afterwards. That will win them a lot of interactions in the midfield and keep that pressure on Evil Geniuses.
I'm looking forward to seeing how Misfits sort of react to when they get the ball stuck in their own half. This has not necessarily been the answer I was after, as they have struggled here. Cash pops the ball up high. Not really expecting that was anybody. That was Mitane, who ends up leaving it. No point jumping in there. You're just going to make your recovery that much slower. Ivan tasked with collecting off the backboard. Good boom and clear, though. Misfits doing the foundational plays very well at the moment. And it's let them just continue to mount that pressure. Good bounce for Catalysm. It doesn't just bounce straight back out. It's over to Ivan. Now back to Catalysm. Again, Catalysm's touch is very awkward, not only for himself, but for the opposing team as well. 2 minutes left here. EG starting to see more of the ball on the other side of the field. But here's the big thing. The transition game from Misfits has been incredible.
Yeah, just the way they're moving is so much more momentum-based. Evil Genius is often finding himself static in certain situations, but watching Cash, he has not stopped zooming around the pitch. And it means that firstly, he's more effective, and secondly, when he's coming in, it's surprising Evil Geniuses because he's popping in out of nowhere.
Alizum can't get to it. It's the infield pass. Good block from Arju, or for Ivan, I should say. Arju now moving on to the ball. And look at that, just killing off some time here. Realized that there wasn't really a play on from him. He's not going to get the 1v3 outplay. So just set up the best block that you can. Get as many players as you can out of the play entirely. As Cash wants to get off the backboard. He gets the second over to Mitane. And Ivan scrambled to reposition the car. And now his team's on the counter-attack. Shot on target.
He's back.
Couldn't get anything for it. There's 0 boost on the shot. And Cash is already there.
How does he keep getting back for things? He's just making so much ground around the pitch, and I think credit to Arju and Mitane, who are choosing those right moments to take up a bit more time, take it for an air dribble, let that ball move into their own half to try and get that booming clear. But this could be that opportunity, and it sneaks in the top corner. Catalysm catches the defense off guard after the Mitane bump.
Ivan, you cheeky lad. He got the bump on the backfield. It meant that nobody else could get around to try for the block. And I like that. Evil Geniuses are being outplayed here, Regan. I don't think it would be too despicable for me to say that. You've got to try something different. And getting behind the back line, getting that bump, has given them a way into this game. Now, with only 30 seconds left in this, really can go either way. There's all of that good play from Misfits gonna go downhill. Can they keep this up? That double commit is not a good sign. Infield to Ivan. Chooses not to take the shot on target. Realized that he was being shut down.
Yeah, I think the on-the-ball plays right here from Misfits have been superior, but Evil Geniuses recognizing that have started to look for some of the off-the-ball plays, boost steals, bumps to open up space for those simple clears. And they seem to be regaining control at the midfield consistently as Misfits are scared of that bump potential now. But it really will come down to that creativity from Misfits finally breaking through the Evil Geniuses defense. Otherwise, eventually, Evil Geniuses will punish and overcommit with that bump rotation they've got going on right now.
Feels like a big match for me when it comes to Misfits winning this series, because you can imagine Evil Geniuses making the adaptations between these games. This might be the biggest advantage we see from Misfits in terms of the gameplay they've had. Even then, we're starting to see more of a better transition game from Evil Geniuses. Couldn't commit the numbers to it, though, as Cash and Matane slight miscommunication as to how that pre-jump pass was going to work out. I'm just very happy that I can say sentences like that as if it's expected these days. My goodness, how the game has progressed. As Ivan to the corner realized that the pressure might be coming in. Arju just back down. Infield to Matane. Shot too high. It's up to Cash to try and finish it. He puts it high as well. And that's the chance gone. Rizex's first touch, not that great though. And the counter-attack is slowed.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing over and over again. The attempts here from Misfits are one touch, one little smart mechanical play away from scoring a goal. Evil Geniuses are very much relying on 50-50s, bumps, and simple clears breaking down this team. And it's just not going to be enough if they continue throughout the series. They've always looked their best, Evil Geniuses, when players like Catalysm and Ivan start bringing out their own mechanics to force the opponents out of position.
Oh, that's such a good pass and a very worthy one to come in and grab the win. Arju to himself, off the backboard, off the ceiling, and Matane could do nothing else but put it in the back of the net. And Misfits, despite the late scare, have taken game number one. And Chiefs, I want to bring you in here because we've got so many different teams playing today, including one of them that is a former world champion org, a multi-time European champion org in the form of Vitality. Surely they're having an easy time of it in the lower bracket.
No. It was a bloodbath in game one. They did win, but it was 6-5 versus Grow Noobs in game one. So a real huge bloodbath. It was absolutely bonkers. Currently ahead in game two, however, 1-0 with 3 minutes. So it seems everything has settled down a little bit for them at least. And they are out in front in game two as well. So Vitality, big roller coaster of a day today.
I wonder if that's a unique scoreline, 6-5. I know there's very...
Scorigami?
Yeah, is that Scorigami? I don't know.
Somebody's tracking this somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure D-Rex tracking it. I think
that sounds like a flip side result. I'm absolutely certain if a team got that, it was flip side first.
Well, I guess 6-5 is quite likely because if it was 5-5, it would always be 6-5. So 5-5 and 6-5 are both.
We are still waiting on the first ever 1-1 game. It's ridiculous. One day.
It'll never happen.
Don't worry.
Man, I can't even get my 1-0 series at the moment. But yes, it's if you want a place for tension at the moment, this is the place to be. Just everyone fighting for their tournament lives, their season lives. It feels so weird now saying that the season just is on the line and it's done. You might just be gone for a couple of months now, or you await your next opportunity. We will definitely be coming back to you, Achieves, as we do take a look around. If you want to keep an eye as well, there are team streams currently happening, where I assume the commentary is maybe a lot less calm than what we're providing at the moment, Gregan.
Yeah, I mean, these two teams, like we said, are fighting for their lives, not only today in this tournament, but for the spring split and their chance to make London, which obviously every team wants to go back to the copper box. But for their whole season, making Worlds is so vital, especially for a team like Evil Geniuses who made the LA Major. If they can squeak their way into London, then they're in with a chance of making Worlds. Otherwise, this will be the last time we see them until next season. But right now, I think we're definitely seeing Misfits look the stronger of these two teams. The dominant force in that first game was their outplay ability. They're now going to try and replicate that again in game 2.
Yeah, and probably was one of the easier coaching sessions that I'm sure Misfits have had, which was just stare at Cash and just say, yeah, do that again. You keep that going, we're in a very, very good spot. You did make a great point about wanting to go back to the copper box. So many of these players, young players that maybe their first experience with really getting to grips with high-level Rocket League was that copper box grand finals. And would have inspired so many. And Matane, with an inspired performance so far, just lingered about and was having none of the sort of slovenly approach to getting rid of this by Catalysm.
Yeah, again, Arju coming in clutch with the playmaker. He finished the last game off with his ability to set up Matane, and again, sends it middle for Matane to slot it home. It's not just the Cash show in this team. We talk a lot about him because he has those amazing mechanics that we see so frequently. But it is Arju who's stepped up so far in this series. In defense just there, but his playmaking ability is something that we always want to see from every player on a team.
And Arju is not a player that we can really point towards and say, oh, we don't know if he can step up when the pressure is on him. Came in as a sub for his professional debut, and he played incredibly well throughout all of those, so much so that people were asking, hey, this guy maybe should just stay on the main roster for the rest of the time. So Arju, just always capable, moments notice, you want a performance out of him, he will provide it. He's now on the ball, reset secured, ends up using it for the recovery, and Catalysm also had to recover. Was not expecting Arju to make it that far.
Yeah, at the moment, Evil Geniuses seem to be the reactive team to what Misfits are throwing at them. They need to start taking control of that ball. We saw Rizex just there trying a little bit of an outplay, but just out of boost as they're having to transition out of defense, often low on boost. And that's going to be the key here. Can they manage their resources well enough so that when they're in those strong positions, they can bring out the mechanical outplays they're capable of?
Oh, Catalysm, one touch, two touch, and Matane having absolutely none of the triple touch off the backboard. Again, just look at the transitions. Cash off the wall. He's so hard to read. And I just love the mix-up that we've been getting. Oh my goodness. Well, Ivan, I think might have had it covered anyway. But Misfits are not being linear about their approach to shooting, to getting out of their own side of the field. It has been near impossible for Evil Geniuses to cover all the angles, and whichever one is not covered, Misfits have been there.
Yeah, and you often hear these top players communicate who's going for the ball to be sure that the outplay potential is there. And I'm sure against Misfits, normally everyone would say Cash is up and then panic. But on today's performance from all three of these players in Misfits, it doesn't matter which name you say, they have the potential for that saucy mechanical outplay. So they've got to be watching every single touch from Misfits, and Evil Geniuses just can't deal with this overwhelming creativity.
Matane gets there for the block. That's all he was really required to do as Cash crushes through the first challenge, looks for the setup, he gets it off the challenge. And you can see just the delay from Matane. He didn't go all full throttle towards it. He wanted to make sure that he's at least got some players back should it go wrong. And why not? You're a goal up with just over a minute left. Don't take any real chances in a position like this. The bump gives Catalysm a little bit of space. They've got to score this. And instead, right down the middle, Cash was there to meet it.
Oh,
and it's now off the counter-attack. Cash scores 2-0.
Not only does Cash save this ball, but he follows it up to get that 50-50. Evil Geniuses trying to keep that pressure on, and Cash denies it. The transition from him there, 1v3, and there's even a player from Misfits in the middle to support him. This is the kind of mechanical control we're talking about with Misfits, and it's so key to the higher level gameplay we see today. Moist, an example of performance based off of mechanics, and I think Misfits here replicating that play style.
Oh, crushes through it, Cash. Oh, we talked so much about what Cash can do mechanically. He's not lost a challenge throughout the entirety of this game, although this one very unfair to anybody heading towards him. Just the entirety of the team. They just believe in each other at the moment. You're seeing how aggressive the second man positioning actually is because they feel like they're going to win every challenge, and it's a feeling that's been proven correct.
Yeah, and there's a challenge missed there. Ivan going to get the double tap opportunity. Catalysm needs to score this.
Oh my goodness.
Cash off the goal line. These kind of moments they are so frustrating for a team that's really struggling to put together offense. When you see your best opportunity of the game get denied when the ball is half dissolved on the goal line, even when it's 3-0 and there's no real chance of you coming back, it's just that feeling of helplessness that I'm sure Evil Geniuses are feeling right now. And they're going to want to try and work out how this reverse sweep is even possible, let alone winning a game.
Yeah, certainly so. This series over here is going to go 2-0. And typically here, I'm sure our producer would be desperately searching around for another game for us to take a look at. But Achieves, as we bring you in here, that might prove a little bit difficult. They're around somewhere. We can find him.
Achieves.
My bad.
There we go.
My bad.
Come on
Let
in.
me try that again. Growth Noobs currently up 2-1 in Game 3 after getting bounced out at the end of Game 2. Vitality is up in the series, but down in Game 3. Dignitas is tied against Juicers in Game 3, despite being up 2-0 in the series. And Luminosity is struggling to find an opening goal in Algiri. So everyone who's currently behind making a little bit of headway, despite every series currently being 2-0 for the other side.
So I guess that begs the question, is it possible for any of these teams to get the reverse sweep? Because it is the favourites who are up 2-0 as well. So it's not like the favourites have let it slip and then are now on the back foot. So we'll see.
I'm terrified.
I'm always terrified, mate. This is every Friday.
I don't understand how you sit here and watch European Rocket League and then you're just like, yep, let's go ahead, watch,
Yeah,
rinse,
just how it
repeat.
was.
I don't know how you go play ranked here. Like this is like,
mate, I gave up a while ago when it came. Listen, all right, there was a stage about last year or so that I just looked at this gameplay and went, I feel so insignificant in comparison to all of this. So it's beautiful to watch, though. It really is. And it's, I feel like it's really fun that all these teams are just such personalities now to the way that they play. Everyone has a philosophy, and we're seeing how they can commit to it.
well, currently Vitality's velocity is not going good. They're now down 3-1 with 2 minutes left in Game 3.
Oh.
They lost 4-1. Never mind, they scored again.
Hey, look, they won the first 2 games, so they can drop a game here or there. I'm sure they'll be fine. But if it starts getting to Game 5, then we'll start asking that question as to whether the reverse sweep is possible. And I think that's what Evil Geniuses are going to be asking now. Is this even possible to reverse sweep? And they're starting off strong with Ivan, the car switcher, coming in with a solo play off the kickoff.
Yeah, I think this is the best person as well to get the outplay on up against Cash and get the ball past him, because Cash's goal line defense has been on a whole other planet throughout this series. So just getting that knowledge that, yes, he is beatable. You can put that in that position and you can get the ball past him. Now we see Rizex reset secure, chooses to take it early. And I like that as a bit of a switch up, actually, because it has seemed like they have been trying to go the entire length of the pitch, get the ball into the net off these reset plays, instead of just relying on a player to come and follow up afterwards. The big problem with that play, though, is we do see the bump, and Ivan could have hit it better.
I love this creativity right here. We were talking about the unpredictability of Misfits, and how about that? Rizex looking like he's going to air dribble, Arju pre-jumping to get the block on it, but instead gets slammed out the sky as Ivan gets the point-blank range shot, and he does not miss that. He puts that top corner, making it even more hard for the goal line defense of Cash to make that save. And I think anywhere outside of that top corner, Cash probably would have been sending that one away, as we're seeing Evil Geniuses coming out with no fear.
Yeah, I'm liking this an awful lot more. It's just the big problem I had, and I know that there's a lot of things that go into it, especially when you look at boost management and where the play has been up to that point. But Evil Geniuses, every time they got a good play in the opposing side of the field, had nobody there to follow up. You're just asking for the 1v3, and it's not going to happen. This has been a bit better. They've obviously had a better control of the field. But, all right, you're not controlling Matane. Sorry, lads, you're not controlling the field. You control all parts of the field that Matane doesn't currently occupy.
I love that from Matane, just recognizing to get behind that ball. He had no longer had any options if he chased that ball down, couldn't get the flip reset, couldn't do much on that back wall. So he stays off the ball, forces Capitalism into an awkward challenge and sends it towards the net. And I think what we're talking about Evil Genius is really them looking to play for the goal rather than play to not concede. Oh, stroke of genius. Catalysm.
Catalysm, mate. That is gorgeous. Off the block, lands on it. I mean, that's about as simple as a way I can describe it. He just landed at the perfect spot. And a reminder as well for everybody out there that if EG lose here, they're gone. They're out of the major. Not out of Worlds just yet. But you don't want to be going towards Worlds having not played in the most recent tournament. You need to keep yourself as active as possible. As Rizex off the reset, not going to get anything apart from maybe a whole new car off that demo. So important for both these teams to get a hold of this win, but Evil Geniuses are the team currently sitting in the worst position of the two.
I think the key I'm seeing here from Evil Geniuses players, they're starting to ask questions of Misfits defense. They're saying, are you able to read what I'm doing here? Are you able to defend it? And if not, can I get my team in a favorable position off the back of your misread? And that's exactly what happened with Catalysm's goal. A bad challenge led to that situation. Again, a bad challenge on the back ball onto Ivan's touch, leads to that ball dropping center to Catalysm, and he guesses the goalie's direction perfectly, sends it behind him. And this is what, with the top level, you cannot reactively defend and counterattack against the top teams of Europe.
The way Evil Genius's first two games sort of look to me is the whole, okay, we just come off a loss. Let's just make sure we're doing the foundations right and work from there. But the way Misfits were playing, just no chance that that is going to pick you up wins against a team that is playing towards that level. And now that we're seeing Evil just play their game, well, there's the cash special. Just jump on in from the blind spot on the field and instantly get the save. So at least that's not changed despite the scoreline. There's a scoreline that still has half the game left to change. In goes Arju, shot off the crossbar. That's a lot from Mitane, who does almost provide it. He's got it on target and then forced the defender to get the save. Now Arju off the backboard. A little bit too telegraphed there. Gives up possession to Rizex.
Yeah, this is looking good for Evil Geniuses now. A little bit of momentum in their favor. I think Misfits right now are getting surprised by what they're seeing, but it's also going to tell them we need to adapt. We need to be better next game. And they can make those adjustments after this one. Right now, they're just playing to try and work out what they're up against here. What is it that Evil Geniuses are doing so well to create these goals? And you can see Misfits was getting a little bit jumpy at stuff because beforehand, Evil Geniuses was slow. Now they're asking those fast mechanical play questions. I think Misfits are going to have to start bringing in fake challenges, being a little bit more patient, looking to 50-50 in their favor to try and regain strong possession.
Oh, infield, not able to get to it. Still a very hearty attempt being gone for by Misfits. It's hard to delayed as long as possible. Really wanted that challenge, and it has to have his team. 3 players needed to get the block. Who else is around? Arju takes another shot. Catalysm is better to it. Cash once again moves on in. There is just no give here. The infield pass, I like the idea, but Rizex didn't panic, read the play, got rid of it.
Great defense there from Evil Geniuses, reading every touch that was available, keeping fast, moving on the ground. They've got a bit static in the earlier 2 games. Now they're finally bringing in their momentum, and that means they got that edge when they're going for that ball, as they don't have to accelerate towards it. So they're able to keep all of those shots out, read the play, and keep that 4-1 lead that they've earned this game through fantastic mechanical outplays. And Misfits now, what are they going to have to do to change their play style to be able to counter what Evil Geniuses are doing right now?
Evil Geniuses have been forced to defend the latter stages of this game. And defend, well, they certainly have. Been really up against it here, but that 4-1 lead has held strong. But I think this is also a quick reminder as well, despite lack of goals from it, that if we see a re-upping of the level from Misfits, they could very well still be in control of this series from a gameplay perspective. For this one, it has been Evil Geniuses. They have changed the answers to the questions, and they have got themselves game number 3 achieved. It was looking all very sort of favorite dominant in our last few games. How's it now looking?
Still the case. Now that we've worked our way into game 4, Vitality is currently up 2-0 in versus Grow Noobs. Luminosity currently up 3-0 versus Algiri. So despite them both making a little bit of headway back, it's looking pretty tough. And Juicers and Dignitas still in the midst of an overtime. And of course, as I say that, Juicers actually going to put in the game winner 5.5 minutes through it. So they start the reverse sweep. And Endpoint would be very happy if that happens, as Endpoint would clinch worlds if Juicers pull off the reverse sweep there.
I thought this was supposed to be like, I was looking at it on paper, and obviously Juicers aren't a free win, no matter what. But if you're a Dig fan out there, you're looking at that game and just going, 3-0 this, we can have some confidence that we can make the run. Like, even just losing a game there really hurts that confidence.
Yeah, Juicers are scary. I think a lot of people are going to underestimate them because of the lack of org, the lack of previous results we've seen, but we saw them in the Gamers Without Borders tournament, which has a slightly different format, but they still looked really solid in the 3v3. And individually, those players are definitely ones to watch in future seasons, as this is them starting that journey into the RLCS and trying to make a name for themselves.
Who impressed you the most out of curiosity on Juicers? Gregan.
I mean, Juicy is obviously the name that comes to mind because it's the most memorable of them.
Juicers,
yeah. And I think the advantage with Juicers is all three of them switched in for the 2v2 component of the crew battle. So all three of them were exceptional.
They were
at
the
different
team red with
times.
Moxie at ones, weren't they?
They were, so they did have a little bit of an advantage in that sense. But anyway, enough about that format. Let's talk about 3v3, and we're right here with Evil Geniuses trying to form that comeback when Misfits went up early.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing here if Evil Geniuses can keep that sort of level up. Was a much improved performance from them. I need 2 more games of it, as Catalysm isn't going to be able to try and chase that one down, but see the positioning here from Evil Geniuses, and even then, that almost gave the gaps away. Cash runs out of boost on his way to it, has to try and set up for the block. Couldn't find Catalysm's car either. Right now, Evil Geniuses need to find a way to slow down that transition game from Misfits, because whenever Misfits have the wall on their own side of the field, it's just a given that they are going to get rid of it.
They're trying to break them down, but they just don't have that same read on the defensive positioning of Evil Geniuses. They're not drawing in players when they're starting these outplays and consequently just giving away the ball. Oh, I say that, and we see Cash in the corner drawing in the final defender, sends it middle.
Yeah, this has been Cash's favorite spot to play this entire series because he's got so many options. He can take it up the wall, he can pop it back infield, and he's so good at reading the direction of the defender coming in that he knows which of the 2 options he wants to go with. And it is Arju that can put it in, always around for the infield. And we do have a match sorted out here. Achieves. Which one of our 3 has managed to complete the speed run first?
Luminosity 4-1 over our gear. Only a couple seconds left, but no way back. So Luminosity will advance in the lower bracket. Look at the same for Vitality. They did just put in a go-ahead goal with 1 second remaining to knock them out as well. So well done to Vitality. You survive, and now you've got a date with Carmine Corp there in the second lower round. So no easy routes through the lower bracket for him.
Thank you very much, Achieves. And now I can have my actual reaction to that goal that went in. Oh my goodness, what a goal that was, Gregan.
Yeah, Catalysm on his way out of the offense finds a little redirect. Point blank range, so hard to read as the defenders. But the fact that Catalysm got 111 km/h shot from that close a range and into the side of the net. Such good placement from him, and he's definitely the player we asked to step up mechanically from Evil Geniuses when they're starting to struggle, because he is the one who has the highest ceiling of the 3 players.
Catalysm now, good self-pass. Arju forced to back down the shot.
Oh,
good
what a
enough by
save.
Arju. They always have that save covered.
It was just far enough away that Arju had the time to react to it, didn't get impatient and pre-jump it. He read that shot, which was incredibly fast, sends it away off the crossbar and keeps Misfits in this game.
I don't get it, Gregan. I've never seen an infield pass. There's been a lot of infield passes by Evil Geniuses, and I've never seen it defended this well by not chasing down the pass itself. They are just, either intentionally or not, the shots have been allowed, and they just always save it.
I guess you've got to credit the reaction speed of Arju, which was the reason why they scored as well. Arju was so reactive on that pass from Cash. And they seem to be reading the play in that heightened state of focus, which you need at this stage of a tournament. And reading the play well, which could very easily be tilted if you start to lose a few games and start to see the reverse sweep coming. But right now, they are in full focus, full energy mode.
Cash now off the wall, does have Arju in the midfield. It has been the deadly duo so far. Catalyst not going to have any of it this time around, but Taint just allows his teammate to grab the boost before he moves on in.
Self-pass. This is dangerous.
Oh, almost found the reset. He wanted the instant reset flip. Here comes Mitane to try and score.
That's
Doesn't put
weak.
too much on it. Team is now back in position, but Ivan looks to escape. And unfortunately, he's not going to escape the oncoming car of Mitane.
We just look back on plays like that, and even though Cash didn't break the team down fully, the chaos that comes out of it is exactly what you want to see. And the same thing's going to happen right now as we see the shot come in off the back of Cash, scrambling the defense. And I think we might have a pause here. This is a
Chiefs talk.
That's always the fun rules question when you don't know if that goal is going to stand or not. And I'm glad that's not my job.
Yeah. Wow. Chiefs, what's happening across the rest of the RLCS?
Well, Juicers and Dignitas are likely going to another overtime here at 0-0 with only 5 seconds remaining in regulation. So never mind. They just scored with 4 seconds left. Okay, Juicers, the comeback is real. They're going to go all the way to game 5. It will if Dignitas can't find an equalizer and force OT, but Juicer's looking good. So Juicy, who's it? Juicy Park and Forest. So
this is the most
be a lot of fun.
RLCS thing ever. If we build up Dignitas's potential long run through the tournament, they're just out round 1.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dignitas have had some bad reverse sweeps recently as well. You know, it started at the LA Major where they got reverse swept by Space Station, right? If I recall correctly.
I'll go look it up.
You go look it up. But if my memory serves me correctly,
you
weren't allowed.
yeah. But reverse sweeps do start to plague teams. You know, the most historic one of those was one of the most successful teams just before the pandemic, Reciprocity with Farah, Shazette, and Fruity. I spoke to those players back when they were getting reverse swept a lot, and they did start to think about it. Once they went 2 games up, it plagues your mind, and so you do start to question your ability to hold us and close out a series. Yeah.
And you have a mind like a steel trap, Greg, and you're on the money.
That's one of the problems as well, is that when it starts to happen a lot, you're not the only ones that notice it. Then we start to talk about it, and then all you ever hear is, "Oh, you're the one that gets reverse swept a lot." Like that. That's just sort of something that not only you can't escape from because it's always being said to you. So yeah, it's not a stigma that they want.
100%.
I'll tell you what, while we let the admins figure out the situation in our current matchup, let's go ahead and take a look at Juicers Dignitas. They did just start game 5 right now, so we're hopping in at a pretty decent time, and we'll get to take a look at what Juicers is doing to tie up Dignitas. It's definitely been a pretty stale-matey affair. It's been very low score in the past 2 games, so pretty much just seeing who cracks first.
This is the part where I feel like we really need to talk.
You just want to watch.
I'm just watching it, man.
When you're witnessing the complete meltdown.
Listen,
or the birth of something beautiful.
Anything over the past few years, it's that when we get to sit in here and just talk about the game, it's so much easier than watching and being a fan. I feel so bad for every single fan out there, but hey, it's an experience you're not going to get anywhere else. Every single moment is high octane, high adrenaline over here at the RLCS.
What do you think Gibbs and Leaf are thinking about? Are they upset or are they laughing?
I mean,
I'll tell you what, let's go find out. We got to listen in. Let's find out what they have to say.
On you guys the whole time, chat. Look what you did. No credit to the players at all. This is all you.
To be fair, there wasn't much credit for Scrub there. It was just a bad play by Juicers, but that was because of the chat. Because Juicers were looking at the Twitch chat of the Dignitas stream while playing and saw all this hype, and they got scared. Joyous now, trying to make some plays. Juicy. Gotta shut him down, Leaf. Need some more demos. Need some more Fruit Ninja action.
Keep those digs coming.
It's been a long series. We talked about Fruit Ninja game 1, early game 2. It felt like a year ago, Leaf. I'm getting old. I'm getting a lot of gray hairs. I think a lot of it is because I've been on these dig streams, Leaf.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I have 2 kids. It could be them, but it's probably because of Dignitas.
We're gonna need them to add like a gift package of like just for men.
Yeah, the hair color
colors.
And stuff. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Almost
the double tap.
Faris.
He missed because of Twitch chat though, so well done.
Good job, chat.
Keep up the
Good
hype.
job, chat.
Keep it up.
I like it. Uh-oh. Almost play there, Joyous. Look at him flying through the air. A majestic angel in the Fennec. We don't have a play set up, though.
Yeah, but was he in the Fennec last game, or was he in the Octane? I think he was in the Octane last time, right? Maybe that's what he changed. Went to the Fennec instead.
Way too early for me to be perceptive. I'm on gamer hours.
Leaf's normally asleep right now, so He wakes up for Dignitas, so Dignitas, you better deliver for him.
Do it for me. If you ain't gonna do it for nobody else. Oh my God. These plays though, Juicers are having a lot of pressure right now. A lot of scoring opportunities even too. This is something that Dignitas is definitely have to answer here.
Oh, they keep missing though. Wide open net for Reese.
Good job, chat.
More like throw. It's more like throw, Reese.
Juicers.
There we go. Come on, baby. Jorius. Here we go, lead. High fives. High fives all around.
High fives.
There we
I
go.
love
Woo!
it. Chat, good job. Keep up the dig wins. Keep them up. Keep the energy
Throw,
moving.
Reese. There it is again. Jorius making them look silly.
Juicers,
All
more
right.
like poo-cers.
Now, leave. All right, leave. We're done. All right.
Okay.
It's over?
Fun times. Okay.
Yeah. We're not on the Fruit Ninja stream anymore. We're back on Rocket League, so we got to be a little bit more,
Oh, okay. Dignitas, come on to a lead. 2 minutes left. Get another one. Let's end this with style.
No bombs. No bombs. Let's go. Big 50. Scrub's got space. And then, never mind. I'm completely wrong.
There is the wrong net.
The announcer even. Just BM and Dignitas yelling, what a save here. For no reason at all.
That's fair. That's fair. We know it's here. I'm not worried
right.
about it. Okay. You saw the momentum.
Psionics is against us. It's okay.
We're good.
Okay.
We're good.
It's
We're
fine.
good. We're good. We're good. We're chilling. Oh,
127
look at this kickoff. What? Faris. Absolutely rude. It looked like it was a potential kickoff. What are you doing? Setting that us up? Setting it up for us? Let's go. Hold the momentum. Look at this. We got formation. We got the boost. Oh, can get that corner though. Jorius can't follow that one up. Ooh, touch out center. Reese intercepting though. Juicer's been doing a good job of intercepting a lot of those passing plays. They're getting themselves in the mix. Parka, close save there. Pressure. Might start the mount here if we get a 50 win here. Scrub does. Where's the second? There it is. Out center though for Reese. Manages to pull that one away from the front of the box. 40 seconds remaining now.
Just got to hold that midfield line. That's all we got to do at this point. Oh, no. That is exactly what we did not need. Woo! Luckily, does not go in. But got to hold that midfield line. Waste time. Throw it deep in corners. Over and over again. We don't need goals. Just hold the midfield. Here we go. Scrub. Just going to throw it deep. Try and waste some time back here.
What's he going to do?
Exactly what he's doing.
Trixie
he's just wasting
Hobbingtons.
time.
Get in front of the net.
10 seconds on the clock. Dignitas wants to stay alive for London.
No! What?
Oh,
Parka!
no.
4 seconds left, and somehow it pinballs its way into the net there. Juicy feeds that one, and Parka just sits on top of it. And it's looking like, unless a kickoff goal comes out here, Gibbs, we're going to head into overtime.
What is this series? What is this split for Dignitas right now? Jory is trying to and it does! It's not over yet!
Well, it is. This game is over.
Jorius has other thoughts. Look at that shot. Has to keep it in the air, but drop it low enough. Fantastic.
Oh, no.
That was close.
I wanted it. You imagine scoring on 3 seconds and conceding at 0 and just being like,
But there's worrying signs there, though. The fact they were 2-0 up, and then in those final moments when they are worried about the reverse sweep, about closing out the series, they got the closeout in the end with the kickoff goal, but I don't think it was fully in their control. You know, they're not looking as strong and dominant as we saw in the past, and it's starting to plague them.
I liked it though. I think you're onto something there. They did look good over on Juicers. I think you're right on the money with saying they just need a little bit of time, and who knows, maybe next season they'll be in a real good shape. But getting back to this one, we did have an EG player disconnect during the last goal. The pause was called before the goal was scored. So upon review and replay and everything that you have to do as an admin to do the job right, concluded that a player could have made a play on the ball before it was scored. So game 4 will start at 1-1 with 1:41 3-1 on the clock. So the goal will be essentially taken off the board and just reset from kickoff at that time.
Yeah, I think
Sounds
that's
good.
what we saw when we were in the game. We saw the pause being called. So
You could tell it was a desperate one because it was just Cash putting like P. Like we need this out there.
yeah. I think it was Catalysm called on behalf of another player. It's one of those where we always want to have the fairest outcome. And having been on the coach's side, I used to get very nervous whenever I heard a player go, I'm lagging. And sometimes it was just, a little bit of lag. But when it was like, oh, I cannot play anymore, it's like, right, I am going to make sure this does not affect our next result. And so fair play from them calling it as soon as it affected them. It is one of the hardest things to do as an admin in esports. But we have come to a fair conclusion. We'll be back into the game soon.
Yeah, it's just the state of the esport in one sort of way where whenever a play like that happens and a player does disconnect and we need to get that information out there, the ball travels the entire length of the field in like 3 seconds. It's something like that where like anytime any player is gone, it makes a huge difference. So yeah, we'll see sort of how the players react to this now. And actually, Greg, and I sort of want to pick your mind on this one because you said like what you did when things like that happen. But what do you do now when your team's been full comms mode for a little while? You now got to get yourself back into this. Sort of give me the perspective on both sides of this from the team that one got the goal chalked off and they're right back to the even playing field, and two for the team that just lost the goal.
Well, the team that just lost the goal historically has collapsed. There's been a lot of cases where a team gets a goal taken away for whatever reason it is. They then struggle to keep performing at their best. And I remember it happening to my team once. And the key is just to focus on what you can control. That disconnect is out of your control. And so you go into the next game. And if they have spoken about this before, have got the maturity to understand what happened and respect it, I'm sure they'll be all thinking, look, we couldn't control it, it's happened, we move on. For Evil Geniuses, they're almost going to get a buzz out of this. The decision has gone in their favor. They've managed to reset and they're coming back into this. So they're going to be feeling good. I think that could make a massive effect on their performance to make sure they play at their best.
Are you feeling good about Evil Geniuses going into this one? Because Misfits did look pretty strong in those first couple of games. Yeah, they're working their way back. And then we were obviously wondering a little bit about some of that consistency from Misfits before the series began, whether or not Evil Geniuses had enough to really get through Cash. I know, Greg, and you thought Cash was going to be playing incredibly well today. Do you feel like you've gotten that?
I mean, you ask about Cash, and really I'm interested as why Arju is playing so well. What's he done today that's made him step up? He's been playing amazingly. Been so quick on the ball. Cash, we expect him to play well all the time. So I guess it's the norm for him playing really well. But it really is a step up from everyone. And Matane has been solid, filling in the gaps and keeping that pressure on when needed. And it is really about whether Evil Geniuses can reach the potential we know they have. Because Misfits set a standard, Evil Geniuses are trying to match it.
I don't know what to think. I kind of like the idea of Evil Geniuses going to Game 5.
I'm not as confident as I was earlier on in my prediction.
What did you predict again, Shogun, for everyone who's just tuning in?
I predicted Evil Geniuses on this one.
Chat made me go that way too, so I'm with you. I'm a little less confident.
Listen, we were given 0 geniuses between us, and Gregan got 2. All right, so he better be getting this one right.
I just had a feeling, and that's pretty much the way most of these predictions go.
Yeah.
New Misfits came to play today. Right now, you're looking pretty good. They're in good shape. Do you think they stand a chance against Semper if they knock them off here?
There's always a chance. I think that's the exciting thing about Europe right now is you've got this load of teams that could pop off on a day and play incredible Rocket League, and then also have a massive diminishing factor when they're underperforming. And what we're seeing right now from Misfits, the way they played today, this is like the Misfits who've made deep runs in tournaments. If they can keep that up, then Semper are going to be scared.
Go for it.
We don't know where Semper are at the moment. That's sort of what BDS have become in this, where a team gets swept and we go, yeah, they're still gonna be playing good today. That's just what BDS does to teams. So that is a real coin flip, no matter who goes through on this one.
And if Endpoint beats BDS, Endpoint secures a spot at Worlds, and Solary versus Luminosity. No guarantees there, I think, for either side. I know Solary's been playing really well, but you never know. And Endpoint would be very happy, and a lot of people would be very happy to have Solary make an early exit as well. So Guild been playing pretty good, but sad days if you're a Dignitas fan, because you're still down in the lower bracket. But finally, we've made it back. It's Evil Geniuses in game 4 versus Misfits, and we'll see if Misfits can stick this one out.
Well, we get into this. 1 minute and 41 on the clock as we get this underway. As Arju with a long clear, forced to try and collect that one. It's up to him to now try and give his team a little bit of space. We'll look to see whether or not these teams still have the same strengths that they had earlier on in the series. Tame pops the ball up. Oh, Arju at the stretch does get to it. Ivan was lurking.
Matane trying a solo play here, just gets the flip reset, takes Rizix out of the game, but it gives it back to Catalysm. And at this early stage, after the reset of the game, I really just want to see whether Misfits are as creative on the ball as they were earlier. One of the first things you tend to see from players when they're frustrated is their mechanics tend to not look as clean. And so far, Misfits, they're looking solid. They're making their touches. They are hitting the ball well. And as they settle back in after the pause, will they be able to break down the Evil Geniuses defense?
Now Arju going to try and take this by himself. And instead, now off the backboard, Matane again just gets to it. EG are hitting the ball pretty cleanly at the moment, and it has helped their cause so far as Ivan, the ball just snatched away. Now to the other side of the field, Matane can't get the setup. Instead, Rizix crushes through the challenge, looks to go the whole way by himself. But Cash, I like that, just chose to go for the ball, but also guided his opponent away from the net, made sure that the angle never really was on. 15 seconds left here, we're still tied up, 1 goal apiece.
Yeah, and the question does beg here, if Evil Geniuses take this game, will Misfits start to feel that reverse sweep then? Will they start to feel hard done by something that's out of their control? And this is going to be the most important overtime right here. They need to win it here. And remember, both these teams playing for their tournament life, but not only that, their season life. Can they carry on the rest of the RLCS 21-22 season, or will this be the final game we see them play?
For Evil Geniuses, this was a season that they came in very much hyped. They were considered the main winners of the off-season. Every single tournament they won. There's a lot of the high-level teams from RLCSX did seem to take a couple of months break, and that really gave them the chance to shine. There's the infield to Rizix. He got it to the side. Defender tried to jump in, and Rizix avoided him.
Oh, Catalysm up the wall to Ivan. Great positioning on the way out from Ivan. And a very simple shot from Rizix there. Definitely more to be able to give. But he sends it down to that bottom corner, sneaks it past the final defender. And we've got a game 5. Reverse sweep is looming.
Achieves. Usually I ask you to come in here and sort of give us the lay of the land. But I suppose we're way past that point at the moment. So how's your sort of look at this and what we got in the last few moments of that?
Yeah, getting to watch a bit more closely, I should say, in that last minute or so. I was curious to see, as well as Greg, and thought if Misfits looked good. I thought the start of that was very, very good. A lot of great pressure over on the blue side. Unfortunately, just not enough to crack down the EVG defense. And unfortunately, that last sequence just kind of looked to me, they were just a step behind. Really well. Really good ball movement. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say from Evil Geniuses. Up towards the teammate, back down into the middle very quickly. And it's just a lot to keep track of over on the defensive side. You saw Cash a little late to the sidewall. Matane just trying to cover as much as the net as possible. And it really was just a real well-placed shot from Rizix to go down into that lower hand corner. So great movement from Evil Geniuses. Bounce back. They get the pause review in their favor.
Goodness.
They get the overtime or the game win. And what is it, Shogun? Tell us.
So right now as well, we're not the only regional currently happening. We've got the APAC qualifiers happening as well. The bracket reset game 7. Gladiators have just gone 2-1 up with 29 seconds left against Detonator. That could be would that be the first APAC South team that got sent to one of these majors?
Yeah, we've had 2 APAC North teams representing the APAC region at the majors. That would be amazing to have completely different teams very frequently in these emerging regions. We tend to see consistent top teams who stay at the top for ages. And in APAC, it's been a whole variety. But right now, we are watching...
They've done it!
Evil Geniuses. Look, Shogun. I appreciate other stuff is going on. We are in game 5 right now between Evil Geniuses and Misfits. Season-long rivals looking to send the other one home and potentially out of contention for Worlds. And right now, it looks like it's going to be Evil Geniuses.
But for the sake of it, Gladiators do win, and they do make the major in London.
Thank you very much. Very nice logo as well. Looking at ourselves into this. Oh my, it's all happening. It's been 2-3 weeks of just back-to-back high-level Rocket League with so many implications, and it's only going to continue, so be sure to stick with us. Only for this weekend, London, Worlds, we're at the tail end of the season. As Ivan's touch sends that the wrong way. He's put his team in a bit of a rough spot here, but Catalysm does spot the danger and gets rid of it. Archu keeps that pressure on, at least for now, but this has been the better part of the play from Evil Geniuses. They've got rid of it. They've put themselves in a good spot to now play. And they've got Ivan, who almost wrong-footed the entire team.
Now, this is where you start to look at the play style we speak about between Misfits and Evil Geniuses and which one works better when you're nervous. Executing highly mechanical plays is so much tougher when you're starting to feel the nerves of a Game 5, where Evil Genius's simplification of the game will be much more reproducible in these Game 5 moments. We've seen it so far already. A lot of mistouches, misreads from Misfits has led them to take themselves out the game, which is exactly what Evil Geniuses want to see and punish.
Cash chances here. Usually goes for the infield pass. Did have the option available again. Instead wanted to go for that individual play. Didn't work this time. Now Cash once again off the wall. Far too quick, and Catalysm does get to it pretty handily. Has just been back-to-back offense, though, as Mitane not going to be able to reach that. His team's out of position! What? I think my first guess is on this one is that Catalysm turned expecting Mitane to hit it. And yep.
Yep, and then Cash expected his teammate Mitane to hit that ball. Found himself facing the complete wrong direction to clean up after that mistake. And this is exactly what we're talking about with Misfits. They have a history of underperforming in the final regional, underperforming when they need to clutch up, and they do not want to let that plague the rest of their careers, as they're starting to show those signs right now in their gameplay.
It just seems like two teams that have started the season roughly in the same spot, and one has started to figure it out more than the other, because Evil Geniuses were in the same spot. Missed out on the first major of the season, couldn't get the wins that they needed in the very last day, but under pressure here, they are stepping up to it and on the verge of a reverse sweep. Mitane will do anything to try and put right that previous wrong. Arju back in, can't get contact. It's getting so much harder here. Evil Geniuses couldn't finish it off with that.
And you wonder how much these guys are thinking about stuff that just doesn't matter right now in this game. Are they worrying about the fact they could have won that last game if it wasn't for the pause? Should they have just closed it out in the last game? All they need to focus on right now is playing their best in this final moment, because it could be their final moments together as Evil Geniuses go up 3 goals. Ivan coming in with a shot.
The game has just got so much harder to read all of a sudden for Misfits. They can't get it right. And that could very well be the end of it. 3-0. Ivan puts his team well in the driver's seat. And it might be about to get so much worse, because Mitane, Arju, and Cash have got to send the house now. Every play needs to be all in. Every single touch needs to get them closer to a goal. And this is not where they want to see it at the moment. Mitane guides the ball only as far as Ivan. Instantly shuts it down. You can see Evil Geniuses have got players locked down in the midfield. Catalysm now takes his turn to move on in. And this is Evil Geniuses defending in the opponent's side of the field. As Cash takes his time. How much more has he got? Arju was coming in from a narrow angle. They tried to recover the play, but Arju had to be coming in from the far side.
Yeah, he just gave no options to Cash. It was way too narrow, and Cash had the right idea there. Draw in a player, send it middle for the point-blank range shot, and Arju just had no wiggle room to send that one towards the net powerfully. And it's these tiny little differences in decision-making, tiny differences in communication that are letting Misfits down, as we just see the speed of Evil Geniuses keeping up with Misfits. And they're not finding any gaps in the defense. Ivan going to take control of this ball, not worried about the challenging players. It's just going to go to a teammate, and that's going to allow him to get the counter-attack. Cash sends it away, but it might just be too much to ask. Coming back 3 goals here for Misfits.
As you mentioned on the previous play, Greg, is that Cash had the right idea by slowing it down. They don't have that luxury anymore. This is all in offense for the rest of this 25 seconds. Everything on the line here. As Evil Geniuses recollect the ball, Archu avoids getting hit, but he's still under pressure from Rizek. Ivan will get rid of it, and that should be enough for Evil Geniuses. They did it in the most difficult way they possibly could have. but the reverse sweep is secured. They move on. Misfits are out.
Oh my. We did not expect to see a reverse sweep happen this convincingly by Evil Geniuses. They changed so much from those first 2 games, not only to start bouncing back, but to look like the better team on the field, which just didn't seem possible the way Misfits was starting off this series. So we've got to credit Evil Geniuses. When the pressure was on, they stepped up. And unfortunately for Misfits, they continue the storyline of the 3rd regional dropout.
Listen, I'm only going to point out here as well that Jorby was one of the first ones to leave the lobby. So that could be an interesting green room for us tomorrow. Hi, Chiefs. Enjoy yourself this round.
Oh, I knew Jordan was going to be crying somewhere along the lines. A tough go out for Misfits, but at the same time, a fun little milestone. That is our 100th reverse sweep of the season. So well done to you and your crew over there at Evil Geniuses. Big win over Misfits. You keep going, and what a wild ride it was. Gregan continues to show us why he got 2 genius hats at the start, because he said they'd collapse. It absolutely did. Shogun and I are in awe of his majesty.
Greg,
wait.
Greg hedged his bets here. He was going to be right no matter what. He even got it right because he predicted
pulled the
Misfits.
games. He's learned from the best.
I'm not having this.
Yeah, that's in the
I'll tell you
school of Gibbs analysis right there. He taught me that one.
Well, you guys, we could figure all that and who deserves what over on the break, because when we come back, we'll have our final featured match of the day, our second elimination round as well. When we return, it'll be Carmen Corp versus Vitality here on the main stream. We'll see you in just a few.
The World Championship is where the greats become legendary.
But if I'm
Welcome back, everybody, to the Super 16. We have arrived at our final elimination round for the day. Myself, Shogun, and Grigan here to take you along for the ride. And what an insane first elimination round that was. Some fun reverse sweeps. Evil Geniuses clutching up big time, Shogun.
Yeah, absolutely so. And it was a performance that really started to sway in their own favor. Just felt like every single game they were discovering the weak points of Misfits more and more as we went through. But Greg, and as you mentioned as well, for Misfits, it was more of the same. You know, we know this seems like a team that in scrims is probably ridiculous. And then when we get to tournaments, we just don't get to see it.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some of the goals they score in scrims. Cash shares them on his social media. Amazing plays. And I think it really does come down to when they're feeling good, they're dangerous. When they're not feeling so good, we do start to question them. And really, when they're on the back foot, in clutch moments where they need to win for their own tournament live or qualification live, they seem to really struggle to close out series. So something they can work on for the future, but they are now out of this season of RLCS. We won't be seeing them at London and we won't be seeing them at Worlds.
And we arrive into our second elimination round today. Our featured matchup will be K-Corp and Vitality. There's a whole host of majors and worlds qualifying implications for a bunch of these teams in this rounds, but we'll dissect those as we continue on. For now, let's go ahead and just hop right into what we're feeling about this one. Vitality, bit of a spotty day today. Same could be said for K-Corp. And Shogun, what are you thinking about what Vitality's chances are here?
Vitality, for me, have resorted back to old Vitality. I was hoping that the introduction of Radosin was going to introduce a fresher, more modern look towards the team, but we heard Johnny and Cole say certain words over and over again. Double commit, looking slow, looking predictable. These are the three things that we had problems with the old roster when they were playing with Fairies. So I don't know what's going on there. They need to allow the personality of some of these players, I think, to show. And I think Radosin is a huge part of that, where they've got to make sure he's confident enough to play his game, because this doesn't work. This strategy isn't going to get them far enough.
And it puts a lot of pressure on those shots as well. And they were missing some vital shot opportunities, which if they don't get them, they very rarely get another opportunity for the rest of the game, because they just don't have that mechanical breakdown ability that they can rely on as a full team of three to keep opening up opportunities to score.
I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and get you guys at home's thoughts on what you guys are feeling. And I'm curious to see how this one pans out, because Vitality did take a pretty convincing lead earlier on in the day against Solary, and that didn't go their way. So here against K-Corp, also curious to see. And while we get you guys at home's thoughts, let's hear what we're thinking about K-Corp. Upside, downside, uncertainties, feel goods. What are we feeling about K-Corp?
I mean, I've not had a chance to see them play today, but off the back of what I've seen from them overall, this is a team that has bounce back potential and a lot of it. So if they start to peak, it's going to be hard to stop them. For me, this really looks like a series where it depends on the level that K-Corp bring in. Because if they reach a certain amount, I don't know if Vitality can match it.
Okay, so
let's
you're
go ahead.
predicting Carmine Corp? Is that?
Yeah, obviously from what I've been saying, I've got to go K-Corp.
Yeah, just to confirm. See, I think it's going to be K-Corp too. Just if they play at their par level, they should be able to beat the current Vitality that we're seeing. But again, both teams have a wide range of ability we've seen so far this split. And in particular, around the pressure of this moment, it could affect their performance.
I have to believe one more time Vitality's not out yet. I cannot allow them to go out with not anybody picking them. I know K-Corp's good. Vitality's been shaky. I have to pick Vitality. I think they can do it. Is it going to be scrappy? Yes. Would I think it would go 4 or 5 games? Absolutely. And 68% of you guys at home are like, yeah, Vitality's toast. Yeah. So fair enough. I guess I'm not super stoked about being on the downside, but that's
yeah. How do you feel about finally being the host and having to put in the charity pick just to support the team that's less likely to win?
It doesn't feel as big a charity pick as some other times there's been a charity pick. I do feel okay about it. I'm not like super gung-ho, but I do think they can win it.
I think this is Achieves proving that he is RLCS's real historian right here, because every time we see Vitality in a spot like this, they just get the result that they need. Like we saw it earlier on, that's how they made it to the first major. We've seen it in previous seasons where, okay, RLCSX, surely BDS are winning the whole thing. Thanks for turning up, Vitality, and they go ahead and win it. there's something about these matches that Vitality always come out on top of, and they're going to need more of that magic here up against K-Corp.
Yeah, and just a little bit of history as well. Looking at K-Dot right here, I think he's using the car that he used back in Season 7 when we won the RLCS. So reminiscing on his better days back when he was one of the most dominant players in Rocket League. But right now he is going to be reliant on Alpha and Radosin a little bit more and their ability to outplay the defense of K-Corp, who we know are one of the most mechanical teams in Europe this split.
And so it's all about not biting on the wrong thing when you're up against K-Corp, because if you do, you're going to end up double committing an awful lot up against them. As K-Dot takes his time, good catch from him, but realizes he couldn't get it too much further as he had it on the wrong side of the car. So I don't know if he was trying to find the pass over to his teammate. Either way, Astral now over onto the wall. Good beat on the first player, wants a block on K-Dot, and K-Dot does well just to guide the ball around him.
Yeah, a bit of a history as well between Astral and K-Dot. Back when Astral was on Dignitas, they had a lot of big games in Season 9. The final of that season, online season, was between Astral and K-Dot and Alpha as well, in fact, at that stage. So, definitely a bit of a rivalry there. And, Astral being one of the younger French-speaking players coming up will have seen K-Dot as a bit of an idol and now wants to prove against him that he is the superior French-speaking player. Of course, K-Corp as well and Vitality, two of the biggest French-speaking orgs. I'm sure the Rocket Baguette stream and the French audience right now are loving watching this matchup, as it's definitely a rivalry. We've seen so many times. Alpha, shut me up and score a goal. Beautiful.
I'm sure so many people watch us this season and keep wondering, why do they keep talking about this guy so much? We're not seeing it. Well, that's why. Alpha is a difference maker, because he can hit stuff like that. 1-0, Vitality have taken the lead. They've got 3 minutes to try and hold on to it, or trying to add on to it as Alpha wins the challenge. Looks like he's starting to find his groove over here in the lower bracket.
Yeah, always a threat, always a player you've got to watch out for. When he's playing well, he looks like the best player in the world. What a pinch! Oh, Radisson just coming around just in time to send that one away. But there will be mechanical moments from both sides of the field. Of course, Alpha majority of that on Vitality, but all three of K-Corp. Definitely one to watch.
That's going to be a save. Itachi bumped into it. I think it was going to hit the crossbar anyway, but just gave it that little extra oomph to take it away from a potential rebound. Now Astral's chance. Oh, big miss. As K-Dot hits it back over to Alpha. Does have Radosin in the midfield. Radosin can't with a block. Alpha has 1v3 the Carmine Corp.
He's so smart. The threat of what he is capable of makes these players rush and panic, and he knows they're going to do that, and just 50-50s his way to the goal line. And you see Astral having to avoid the bump from Radosin. Doesn't manage to get a good 50 on the ball, and Alpha pinches that ball into the net with the defender. Alpha is the difference maker in this series.
Alpha on the ball yet again. Does get the opportunity for it. Flicks it only as far as the defenders, but that's good enough at the moment because his team have been very quick, a lot more efficient with the way that they've been moving around the field. And for Carmine Corp, it is now up to them to try and find some answers. We know that they've got extra levels to the way that they play. Haven't able to find them so far. K-Dot puts that one back into the midfield. Astral realizes he has to get the ball quickly. Does end up giving up his car in the process. That's actually, yeah, he's going to have to play his one back here. That is a wall of orange cars that were ready to chase after him if he chose to play that one up the wall. But the options just aren't there right now. This has been an exceptional positioning performance from the entirety of this Vitality squad.
I was going to say the context of the timing in the tournament this game. K-Corp have come off of a loss in the upper bracket, have been waiting for this game. And I'm sure there's a lot of thinking going on for this team. They know today is such an important day. If they make top 6, they're in a fantastic spot to guarantee London. If they don't, then they're going to be relying on other people's results. So if it's in their control right now, they need to win. So there's a lot of pressure on the line for them. Meanwhile, Vitality, it seems like, are stepping up in that environment, defending out the onslaught of K-Corp of mechanics right now, not finding a way through. Vitality looking to close out the first game.
Astral over to himself, looking to go the entire way. K-Hop just floated up along with him. But the shots are still there. There wasn't much power on that one. If Nolly caught that well, that should have been 2-1.
Just tough for these guys. It's tough to find the gap that they need to be able to score. And they're really trying to take it route one. They're trying to take it towards the goal. I think they need to work a little bit more around the Vitality defense, break them down first. Because right now, Vitality are in strong defensive position and capable of holding off all of these mechanical plays.
It's going to drop down, but it is too little too late. And Vitality, off the back of some monstrous plays from Alpha, are going to take game number one. But this isn't the only game happening right now. There is an awful lot of games happening with an awful lot of implications. And Achieves can give us an update on some of those.
Yeah, so in short, it's a lot of them is just win and you're in okay shape, lose and you get eliminated from the major. So starting from the top, EG versus Simper. EG winning game one, riding the wave off their reverse sweep over Simper. So a big win here, or a loss, I should say, is that's the only one that matters. Losing in that match essentially takes you out of major contention, so can't afford to lose that. Guild versus Dignitas. Dig win game one 2-0 versus Guild, and a lot of the same stuff here, but if Dignitas loses, then Endpoint is like, cool, we clinch for Worlds, so they're hoping that Guild can make a big comeback there. Luminosity able to win game one versus Solary, but Solary is punching back here in game two, so trying to even things up, and a loss for both of them eliminates them from Worlds with the extra danger of Luminosity being eliminated from the major if they lose. So don't care who wins, really. It's more about who loses for all of these people.
I'm just imagining somebody out there trying to decide like which stream do I want to watch, and their mate just says, "I'll just put on the most important one." And they go, that does not help in the slightest. But right now, Vitality are doing what just always seems to happen from them. They are stepping up when required, and it has been off the back of Alpha. The only worry here is Alpha capable of that for another 10 minutes, Greg, at least? What's sort of your read on this?
Yeah, I mean, Vitality as a team were able to hold off the superior offense of K-Corp that whole game, but then it did rely on Alpha to score a goal, which, like you said, you can't rely on that every single game. But maybe the way he's playing will provide that confidence for Radosin, who's a little bit newer to this higher level gameplay, in the sense that Williams Resolve were always just outside of this top potential. He really needs to step up in this big moment and bring out a star performance to aid Alpha in that successful performance.
Yeah, if you do look at sort of these tournaments from the opinion of Radosin, he's getting the best performances, he's getting his best results of his entire career. And still people might be turning around just going, wow, Vitality just aren't quite there yet, are they? That might be a little frustrating on his part, but still every opportunity to make sure the best is yet to come from this split. As K-Dop does chase down, Nolly off the bump, does give Astral a bit of space, but Alpha once again just gets in the way. One boost for Astral. Still does pretty well to cause a little bit of panic, but Radosin crushes through the first challenge.
Oh,
now
great touch
for the setup, and Astral having none of it. Oh, he's got so many beat K-Dop's by himself. Oh,
that's it.
It's gone off him. It's off the bump. Nothing he could do about it. But it does just add some insult to injury.
I'm sure a lot of people right now are looking at K-Dop and thinking, how's he not defended that? Well, the reason is he's got Nolly to worry about, and Astral who's got space, and an Itachi close behind. That is a misplay from Radosin and Alpha, not really supporting that final defender, diving in, and Astral using his mechanics and defense to take it out and create that 3v1 situation. That's why you can't rely on Alpha to just score and hold out, because K-Corp have got too scary an offense to hold off for a full 5 minutes.
Nolly's going to move on in. Can't win the race to the ball. Natalia had certainly a next gear of pace towards them compared to what we saw earlier on in the broadcast. Need every single little bit of it. 3 minutes left here, a goal down. Actually waiting for his chance. Maybe waited a little bit too long, but the ball does roll over to Nolly as Radosin continues just to clatter into it as often as he possibly can. Now off the backboard, K-Dop can't get to it, and Astral not enough boost to wrap that car back around and find the double tap.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing we're more worried about coming out of K-Corp than Vitality. Their ability to turn possession into a goal. And that's always the question. Who on Vitality will do it outside of Alpha? And frequently we see K-Dop doing very simple touches to try and set up his teammates in situations where realistically he needs to be the one stepping up and creating a goal, breaking the opponents down. Because all it's doing is taking him out the game whilst drawing in a teammate and expecting them to work magic. So if K-Dot can start breaking down the opposition by providing a little bit more value, then we might see that Vitality triple threat finally start to work.
Oh, Nolly ended up being called off from that one from Itachi. It just looked like there was a slight miscommunication as to whose ball that was. Radostin, he's seemingly always in the way at the moment. There is going to be a bit of an argument over whose 100 boost that was. It was Radostin that picked it up, but he was also bumped out of the way, so it is up to Alpha now. Create that breathing room now for his squad. Just over 100 seconds left here. Itachi with Nolly to aim for. Nolly's already up. Good challenge then from Radostin. Good challenges isn't all that Vitality need right now. 90 seconds. And at least somewhat well at getting players towards it, but neither team getting the big, decisive winning challenge. And that's going to just continue to favor K-Corp as that clock starts to wind down. The miss. Itachi goes backboard. What a save that is. Keeps it 0-0. And I love that because Itachi was trying to show the possibility of a first-time shot, instead floated in the air and made sure that you're able to get the save.
Yeah, watching the point of view of Alpha right now, he really does seem to be carrying this Vitality team. Just looking at the scoreboard, the whole of this game pretty much,
wow.
He's had more points than both his teammates, and that's just not sustainable against a 3-player offense like this. Any one of the K-Corp players can score a goal, and Itachi right there, a wonderful fake, just cancelling out of that jump to get back under that ball and send it towards the net, causing the defense to get static. And that is going to put K-Corp 2-0 up and really set a tone going into the final game that they are capable of breaking down the full Vitality defense.
See Alpha trying to provide something for his team. K-Dot sticks around, but no real threat. Itachi just gets rid of it. No real need to look towards the infield. You don't need anybody over there. Just continue to commit only one player per play.
Oh,
Good
beautiful.
shot, good goal. Astral couldn't have hit it better.
Nolly just knows that's the space Astral wants it in. High in the air, hard to predict for the defense. Trusts in his teammate to be able to finish it off. And Astral just makes it look so easy when he gets around that ball and sends it towards the goal. And at this stage, this is where K-Corp needed to change. They needed to start breaking down the defense, not looking to go and solo play it from the moment they get the ball, but instead take players out the game. Now that they're doing that, they're setting each other up for wonderful opportunities.
This game is all but done as we put away the last few seconds of it. Alpha looks to try and get out a confidence booster, but not even that one's going to head towards Vitality's favor. So 2 games, 2 very different looking games here, Gregan. And as we have a chance to bring Achieves in as well, I don't know what to expect here. This really could just continue to be a coin flip each game of one team dominating the other.
You're not too far off in terms of the other brackets. The only team that continued their Game 1 win was Dignitas with a 4-0 win versus Guild in Game 2, so they currently have the perfect sweep set up against them. But as for Semper and Solary, they both tie up the series with wins over Evil Geniuses and Luminosity, respectively. So all things considered, a lot of teams going 1-1. Dignitas looking like the only sure bet here going forward.
Well, on this game that we're watching on the mainstream, I think it's pretty simple, the analysis I'm seeing. Both games, Vitality got 4 shots. In the first game, it relied on 2 wonder shots from Alpha to make those goals. From K-Corp, they've had several shots in both games, looked the more threatening team. Just in the first game, they were rushing a little bit, probably due to nerves, and giving away the ball in those final moments rather than breaking down the opponents to open it up for each other. Now that K-Corp have settled in, I think if they maintain this for the rest of the series, there is no hope for Vitality unless Vitality make a massive step up, especially K-Dop and Radisson.
We'll see if they are capable of exactly that. It has been the flair that Vitality seem to have been searching for the majority of the season, something to bring them back to the top of the region and maybe even back to the top of the world. But now, though, Karmine Corp are taking their chance. It really is what this has been for this squad of players. It is a team of a lot of players here that have been either written off or just sort of said, okay, then there's this problem with this player. You know, surely putting Astra and Nolly in one team can't possibly work, and they've continued to prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, exactly. The 3-star players from their previous teams.
Oh, he couldn't get it.
3-star players from previous teams seemingly left, not because they were a bad player, but because they didn't seem to work with the teammates. They didn't seem to synergize with the teammates. They weren't happy with the way the team was working. They find themselves together. Itachi, Astral, and Nolly, superstars in their own right, working together, seem to have found the final formula they needed as players. And it is just this highly mechanical, full trust gameplay that has been working so well against the teams that are just that step short when it comes to mechanics. I didn't think that was going in, but Astral sends it from the sidewall.
I'm just having a look at the rotation back here. It's K-Dot that's the one going. And
Too slow.
Yeah, I mean...
It's simple as that. He's just not fast enough.
I was looking for literally any excuse I can give him, but there wasn't one.
Okay,
and
so
at this level...
There's two things, right? Radosin has pushed up there, seemingly expecting a teammate to be behind him. The fact there wasn't one means that K-Dot was rotating back too slow, or Radosin has got a bad expectation for his teammates as to how fast he should be getting back. Either of which is a lack of synergy, a lack of understanding, a lack of consistency in the rotation speed of this team.
And something that we can point back towards from the last game, which has already happened, given the situation that K-Dot found himself in for the 2v1. It's just little things that keep coming back to haunt Vitality. And stuff that they would have hoped that would have been cleaned up. As K-Dot takes his time, Itachi just about gets the bumper towards the save. 1-0 with 3 minutes left here in game number 3. Good pass, but K-Dot's not really going to trouble much of anyone from that sort of position. And the way defense has sort of progressed over the last few years, you're not even really getting a lot of possession or boost from it because teams have just got so good at controlling the ball. And speaking of ball control, Itachi has plenty of it and plenty of different ways to make you look silly on the goal line.
Oh, that is reminiscent of the squishy ceiling shot back in season 3, season 4?
Season 4.
Season 4. Just that fake of a ceiling shot going into the second hit, catches the defense off guard. Not even that threatening a ceiling touch, but it's the deception that we're seeing consistent from K-Corp's mechanics now. Asking those questions. We spoke about it in the last series. Ask questions of your opponent. Get them to bait. Get them to draw in and expect something. And in that way, they're always guessing every touch. Even if it's the most simple of touches, they'll be questioning whether that's what they're going to see come out of your car.
Well, the offense from Vitality has well and truly dried up since game number 1. Last game 3-0, this game 2-0.
You say offense? Alpha. Because there wasn't really any offense in that first game. Alpha had 2 wonder goals, and that was it.
I think I said it wrong there. It was just my pronunciation was off. You confused me for a second. I was like, mate, surely it's not that bad.
Yeah, lacking a little bit of full team offense here, Vitality, throughout the whole series.
And they have been trying for it because, again, we go straight back to where the last few goals have gone. It just seems like they're a little bit antsy at times to get 2 players forward. And they're going for what they think they should be doing rather than how the player's actually developing. That shot is going to be wide. Itachi on the way back. Doesn't get the 100 boost to spawn for himself. That's going to be a slight annoyance and does give Radosin a chance to move straight in. But even the bounce isn't going to go their way. Straight over to Nolly. He was waiting for it. The confidence that Karmine Corp have had has been quite something to behold here, as they have no doubt that they're going to win the majority of these challenges. And finally, Vitality have got themselves going. Blistering counterattack.
Yeah, what a play from Alpha. Just on his rotation back, comes in, disrupts a Tachi touch to the corner, which pops that ball middle on the counterattack. Radosin coming in, sends it towards the net. Finally, some intriguing positioning from Vitality, not just rotating through the normal patterns. They're trying to be unpredictable and catch their opponent off guard for the first time we've really seen. We need to see more of it. They're just too predictable right now, as we just see that again. K-Dop in prime position to get bumped. Radosin in prime position to be beaten. And K-Corp get that goal quickly back.
That was just very rude, Itachi, as Nolly will just guarantee the goal by pushing it forward. But I completely agree with what you're saying. I think if you were to describe the rotation typically of Vitality, it's clean. It's sort of like how you would want to train somebody and to teach somebody how to rotate. Problem is, that doesn't work anymore. It used to be that could get you a couple of chances. This has given them a chance of the game, and they're going to have to be anything but clean if they want to try and grab that next goal.
Oh, really nice there from K-Dot. The deception, we spoke about it. He looked like he was going to send it towards the back wall, drops it down middle, Alpha is there, but that is not a sustainable outplay. If that fails at any point in that connection from player 1 to 2 to 3, that's a goal for K-Corp. So that's very much one of those goals you can score when you're down a few and get away with it, but it's not going to work in a full series or in a tournament.
Now for them right now, they'll be hoping that it can work for at least 6 more minutes. They still have the chance here to put themselves into match point, but this does not help from Astral. Just pops the ball over the top, miss from Radostin as well, so Itachi can buy some more time, might even get the setup for a teammate. But Astral playing the clock well, realizes he does not need to dive on in. Even Nolly refused to the shot. I think he would have won more power though. Radostin able to quite cleanly pick up the ball. Does require Itachi's help. Drop down to Alpha! 3 each!
Same setup as before, Radostin starting that play with a little bit of draw in and out play. K-Dot drops it down, knows exactly where Alpha is. They do end up scoring, and again, an amazing goal, but it's just not the kind of goal they can sustain long term. The only reason they're getting away with that is because they have to score. There's only a few seconds left. So the question now comes, can they get it in overtime, or will they end up trying to force a goal, overcommitting, and getting called out by K-Corp?
Well, it's time to find out. Big for both of these team seasons. Karmine Corp have looked like the better of the two, but they lose this. No matter how good that they've looked, they will be down 2 match points. Astral moves on in. Might have the setup. Nolly dove in though, and Itachi's tasked with trying to buy his team some time. He does a beautiful job of that. Nolly on the reverse. Almost got the ball back to his teammate. Astral crushes for another challenge needed as well. A lot of solo plays required just to hold the defense for Karmine Corp. Oh, well played by K-Dot, instantly shut down. Shot blocked by Itachi as Radostin now moves on back. First touch goes away from him, so he can only guide it straight back into the middle of the field. Just thought Noddy would come into my field of view there. I don't quite know what he was doing, but he was certainly aerialing for something. Into the mid. Radostin, 0 boost, try to keep the play going. He's done good. Nolly reacts, considering his teammate got a slightly unintentional touch on the ball's trajectory back down. And Vitality, I mean, despite what we've seen so far in the series, this is better from them. They're being a lot more active.
Yeah, the confidence I think they've gained from bringing this game back has stepped them all up individually. We're starting to see several players getting taken out from individuals, not just relying on a full team outplay, but instead, you know, take out one player, draw in the second, open up space for a teammate, getting those positive trades, 2 players for 1, less boost usage, all these kind of fundamental factors to win the neutral game. But it will be K-Corp on the point-blank range. Oh! What a save, Radostin! Sends it away! Astral not able to score!
Alpha, reset against Itachi. He tried to leave it, but Itachi able just to keep his car in the air, guides the ball away. Unbelievable save. And is that the save that keeps Vitality's season going? Is that the moment that we'll look back towards? Right now, Karmine Corp, we're looking to try and just put that behind them. Itachi almost found the infield pass. K-Dot moves on in. Second best to Astral, who would like to recover a bit quicker to get over to the ball from Nolly. Radostin goes for the shot, and Nolly gets rid of it.
Oh, Astral, that's so fast. Those kind of moments like that are so dangerous. When you have a player go for the outplay, you draw in the second of your opponent, and then if you can't get rid of that ball, that's when you start to be on the back foot, because so many players have committed to defend the initial attempt from your opponent. And that's what we're talking about. That's what Vitality are doing so much better right now. Their initial attempt is taking players out the game, but it will be Astral finally finding the net as they break down the defense. Nolly with a great 50-50 and then takes out Radostin. 2 for 1, sets up Astral to shoot cleanly on that top corner, and K-Corp win the overtime.
Oh, Vitality playing the best Rocket League we've seen from them. Still end up taking the L, but it was better. Now they need that for 2 wins in a row. Achieves. There's more Rocket League happening right now as well, and a lot of it has a lot of implications.
Yes, perhaps the most stunning one, Solary down 2, managed to find an equalizer. They're currently in the middle of game 4 with about 20 seconds left going into an overtime. If Solary gets bounced out here, they will be eliminated from Worlds and in big danger of missing the major. So Luminosity going to try and knock them out right there. A lot going on in some of the other series as well. Both teams that needed a win are fighting back currently in their game 4 with Evil Geniuses and Semper, as they may be headed to an overtime, and Guild trying to find a way back against Dignitas. They just put in their first one with about a minute 30 left, down by 1.
Well,
Eyes everywhere. I'm like scouting like this all the time. It's
a lot going on.
It's beautiful. I love it. I love every moment of it. I'm sure the fans don't know. I'm sure the fans just like, this could be so much easier. With 3-0, in and out, nice, easy day.
Well, they made it to overtime. Good job, Silvery. I really thought they were toast there. They were down 2-0 for like 4 minutes.
I feel like we've had that opinion of a lot of teams in this round, and yet many of them do continue to fight back, proving how much this season is worth to them. And we will keep you up to date with the goings on, not only just from here, but also from the other matches from around the RLCS. As we get ourselves underway here over at Utopia, as Astral looks at those outplays, and Astral's shooting has just been on a whole another level. He's just so good, not only at getting the shot on target, but putting it in a position that the goalkeeper doesn't like. But this time, it's Itachi's sheer power that will put it in.
Oh, Guild just tied it up against Dignitas before the left as well.
Oh, amazing.
And EG tied it up with
time for once.
I mean,
oh man,
we had the same thing in Regional 2 with Europe. Just this section of games, these 4 series, whilst they're going on, every single game matters. But right now, it's starting to look less and like this one's going to matter for Vitality as K-Corp now 2 goals up.
No way. He just scores 0.
Oh my gosh. Evil Geniuses. They gotta go 5. What a bump. Some bonkers off-screen action.
So quick reminder, by the way,
this game's easy.
If you have a second monitor, it's time to get as many of these streams up as you possibly can. We're trying our best.
Oh, chance, K-Dot shot. Sends it in. Oh, Vitality, a little bit of bite.
Just the moment, I was like, all right, this match is looking pretty good here. Carmine Corp has sorted it. Can keep an eye elsewhere. No, not the case. K-Dot straight back in.
Yeah, I mean,
dearie me.
That play, I hate to keep bringing it up like it's a mistake, because it's not. It's an amazing attempt on net, and they're doing it consistently where they're getting 3 players involved in offense, and it's working. But we've seen with Vitality, their biggest issue is their lack of ability as individuals to break a full team down. And in this moment, that's going to be an own goal that's going to plague the mind of Radosin, as Nolly just puts him, snookers him, in fact, says, you've got to block this, otherwise I'm scoring, and he has to send it in himself.
So re-establishing that 2-goal lead. Vitality up against it here. It's Carmine Corp that have been playing exceptional Rocket League. Nolly already up, and K-Dot just plays the ball. Doesn't even really give Nolly much of a thought. The Chief sounds like he might have a bit of an update for us.
Luminosity gonna eliminate Solary, a banger of a score from Ixo. Crossbar down and in, so that's Solary out. A lot of people grateful they made a fairly early exit. And as we said earlier, that means Solary is eliminated from Worlds, and they're going to need a lot of help to make London.
Wow. So we're stuck in that position of Solary make it by default if all the teams that could take their spot fail to perform well in this event. And with Endpoint sitting in that upper bracket, they're going to be very happy to see that, because all they got to do now is win 1 series without losing 2, and they'll be securing that spot. And there's several other teams that will be looking at that 5th spot for the London Major, thinking, ooh, that's now opened up now, Solary out of the tournament. And
and that does mean Liquid goes to London as well.
Oh, so lots of implications going on right now, but it seems like K-Corp have just got that more sustainable playstyle to create goal-scoring opportunities. Individual outplays, taking not only 1 but 2 or 3 players out the game, making it awkward for the defense. And Vitality just can't produce enough goals to keep up with it.
Yeah, Vitality look like they're really frazzled with the way that this game has gone. A couple of missed touches or just no touches at all. And 3-goal lead that they've got to try and cut into, and start doing that pretty quickly as well. Nolly just outpacing the rest of them. They do have options downfield, but they don't have the boost on any of those players. And keep an eye on that top right-hand side. Vitality working with scraps at the moment. Talchi back to his own back corner. Kiddo looks for the shot. They need something. Radosin tried to provide. Doesn't work out on this occasion, and the dive in as well means two players are actually now behind the ball. Gives more time for Nolly to move on back in. Alpha and Kid are back in the rotation.
No boost.
Yeah, there's no boost ever for Vitality for the last 30 seconds or so.
So creative. He gets two players to jump. The last one is then looking for boost, and it allows the next players from K-Corp to come in with full license of mechanics. Do what you want. We've broken them down. You can have a go now at scoring without any risk. And that's just such a strong position to be in against any defense when you can go for an outplay knowing that there's no risk of conceding off the back of it.
Infield pass to Alpha, not good enough to try and get at least one of those goals back. Astral already waiting around, and Cheese is having a lot of fun. What's going on, bud?
Oh, Guild just scored a cross-field pinch out of a corner challenge to force Game 5 versus Dignitas, and Evil Geniuses currently 1-0 up on Semper. The loser of this match is eliminated from major contention.
The same issue as earlier against Juicers was a lack of closing out ability from Dignitas. They're just not able to finish off those really important Game 3, Game 4, Game 5, and Guild punishing them for that. Where we're watching right now with K-Corp is a bit of a no game finish.
Yeah,
looks like K-Corp are just going to clean it up and try and rack up as many goals for their stats.
Yeah, this looks pretty done at this point. 4-goal lead. Somewhat unheard of, especially in much more modern Rocket League. We're losing that sort of lead. Maybe back in Season 1, we could potentially see something like that.
Well, with this result from Vitality, I mean, they're not eliminated, or well, they are eliminated from the major, but not technically from Worlds. And while not mathematically eliminated, it's
they
pretty
rely on
tough
a lot.
pill to swallow. Yeah.
They're relying on the worst European performance of all time. Are they?
Well,
or are they?
I'd believe it.
They're still in that range.
I think they're relying on the best European performance at the major to open up more spots for them, as well as the teams that are above them not to do well at the major. So
It's going to be very patchy supporting from this
So
team.
you need Sam and OCE and APAC to beat a lot of North Americans and Europe to lose to North Americans.
Well, that's not going to be happening. K-Corp showing that their superior mechanics are definitely the biggest factor in this matchup. Vitality only able to score by overcommitting as full 3 players or with that crazy alpha performance in Game 1. Outside of that, Vitality just don't have that sustainability in the current speed and mechanical gameplay of Rocket League to match the likes of K-Corp. All credit is due to K-Corp though. Individually looked amazing. As a team, they are looking stronger and stronger, and they just put themselves in a very good spot to be making London.
And whilst we go through these replays achieves, Evil Geniuses gone 2-0 up in their match against Semper. 17 seconds left. That's looking like a lock.
Yeah, tough break for Semper. They will be eliminated from going to London if they lose here. Maybe if we get a little lucky and we can pull the stream up, we may be able to catch the final few seconds. But well played, Evil Geniuses. Got a big reverse sweep and just kept it alive. It was no easy going, but they're not quite done yet. Castiel will score with 10 seconds left. You had to see it. You got to give them a shot.
All right, this is just the moment where surely not. Surely Semper don't pull this off.
What does World Championship coach Gregan say about scoring at 0 seconds here?
Oh, it's always possible. That's the joy of Rocket League, isn't it? That's the. I mean, look, there we go. There's a goal at 0 seconds. It can always happen. Unfortunately, not in favor of Semper, so that's then going to be out now. Evil Genius is winning that game, looking incredibly clutch today. It seems not so strong at the start of the series, but able to get better and better as it goes on as they download their opposition. But this is the last game.
The other one. Yep, Game 5, Guild versus Dignitas. Dignitas just scored, and if you happen to have the Guild stream up, this is the Dignitas one on our stream, but the Guild casters are just sitting there flossing, hoping. And it did bring them a victory in the previous overtime, so who knows?
As the person that was previously on the Guild stream, that sounds about right.
Well, there's no Ian Chambers today. I think he's away. So
Listen, I think he set like a culture. You know how when you come in, Greg, and you try and set a culture? I think Ian set the culture of guild streams.
Yeah, I think it would probably be Stevie White and Tadar, maybe. I'm not sure exactly.
Oh.
But that's not looking so good there. Scrub just booming it, reminding himself of his early days of Rocket League and what worked back then. Just sending that full length.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if CRR could reach that or if he got like faked or bumped, but no, I think he just ran out of boost and couldn't get up.
Don't do that ever again.
Gonna flash the Gibbs on screen.
Well, we love
so funny.
We love the little viewing party quirks. Each of them got their own little special edition that comes in. We mentioned about all the guild stuff, but obviously have a lot of fun on the Dignitas stream too. And it's definitely something. Obviously, we're coming to the end of the season now, but excited to see what next season brings in terms of team streams and whether we're going to get some revolutions in them, whether we're going to see new people come on board, new ideas come on board, and which orgs will come involved as well.
We'll tell you what, let's go ahead and hop on in the booth with Leaf and Gibbs. We'll see what they have to say about their team potentially closing it out here.
Don't worry about it. Easy saves.
Possession now. Oh, good read from Dorito.
Why does his name have like a hashtag and an at? I think I don't understand. Is that something on TikTok or something? I don't know.
No, that's he in his universe, in the vast multiverse, he's copyrighted it there, and that's what the copyright symbol is.
Okay. Fair enough. Dorito, NCRR, the combo play. Those two are so deadly in the air, and it's showing off yet again here. Another handoff play by Dorito to CRR. We saw that, I believe that was, game 3? And we see it here again, and it's never easy, Leaf. 1-goal lead, a little over a minute to play.
Coming down to the wire. We still got the lead for now.
Leaf, stop that.
No, the
Leaf
last time I did, we scored. I know what I'm doing now.
For now. Come on, man. There we go. Joris off the seal to himself. Almost scores, and apparently Jackson will follow.
Joris is so
Can't
good.
get too much. He is so good. He is. Dorito with the shot, but Joris is there. Don't worry about it. It's Joris. 35 on the clock. 50-50 goes Guild's way, but the next one doesn't. CRR, though, can get a shot. Dorito with
What a
bump.
save!
Scrub coming back. Making a big-time save, and apparently Jack will take control. Throw it deep. 25 on the clock. Gotta kill the clock. Joris off the ceiling again. He loves just hitting it off the ceiling to himself all the time.
15 seconds left, though.
Oh, some
He's gotta-
miscommunication by Guild, so Scrub gets a free 50-50 in midfield. Apparently Jack will keep
Kill
it
the
deep in
clock.
the blue side.
Kill the clock.
It's up.
Put it down.
Scrub!
Get it on the ground.
Yes! There it is! Dignitas! We're top 8 again. It feels like it's been forever. But Dignitas, we never...
Oh, man. Talk about just willing it. You can hear Gibbs and Leaf just screaming, get it to the floor!
I just kept right. Like, when we went over to them, they sounded just so calm, like it was matter of fact. And then towards the end, did not sound quite as confident.
Yeah, well, they've got to be careful, though. They keep finding themselves just on the edge of losing out on a series that they should have closed out a few games before, a few goals before. So definitely something that's plaguing them right now. And if they want to make the major, they have to go on the run of their lives. Even though we've seen them win tournaments before, this has to be a whole nother level of Dignitas.
And that loss from Guild on the other side does eliminate them from Major and World's contention. So that is essentially the end of their season here. Tough way to go out, but you gave it a pretty good show. Guild, against pretty much everyone they played, gave them a pretty good fight. They went 5 games against Liquid as well. When they played EG at the start of the day, they were generally fairly close games. So unlucky, or I guess they won against EG. They sent EG down a lower bracket. I forgot that. But in short, a lot of fun, but not today for Guild. And who knows? Dignitas versus Luminosity could be a pretty good game. And Solary as well, eliminated from Worlds. And this whole elimination round, it's tough to swallow. You know, Vitality is praying for everything to go exactly according to plan.
It happened once. They can do it again.
It did happen once, but I will not be taking the odds back the other way.
Yeah, that last round was very much lose, and you're probably going home for most of them. I think Solar is the only team now that have got to rely on some results to go in their favor to stay in. And then for everyone who went forward, it's just putting them one step closer to that journey of potentially making it to the major. And I think a lot of people in their prediction brackets were predicting Dignitas to make that superstar run all the way to the final. Yet to see proof that that's possible, especially with the likes of the upper bracket, which we haven't even spoken about in a while because they're sitting there comfortably. Moist, Liquid, BDS, and Endpoint are too much of a task for a lot of these lower bracket teams, but they will not face them unless they make those big runs.
Well, speaking of teams that are on good runs, let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit. We'll look at the standings heading towards Dallas and Worlds, and that is definitely where BDS want to be, right on top comfortably. They have qualified already. They were never in danger, but Moist feeling pretty good. Endpoint as well. Potential if they secure a nice top 4 finish here. So if they knock off BDS in their first round tomorrow, they will be locked in for a lot of stuff. So good potential for teams there in the upper bracket you were talking about, Greg.
Yeah, exactly. And you might be wondering, where's Liquid? Oh, there they are down in 13th place, a newer team this season, despite being one of the top 3 teams right now in Europe, based off their spring split performances. They're very much a team that's out of world contention. So they're just trying to gain experience, gain money, gain opportunities. And they're really going to be a team to watch next season when they're going to be able to play out the full season from full.
And speaking of spring points, let's go ahead and pull those up. Zoom in a little bit, heading into London, and Shogun, of course, as is tradition, VDS on top once again. And that 4, 5, 6, 7 range, very, very slightly narrowed down today.
Yeah, just a little bit. Obviously, we've got to keep an eye on this throughout probably the entirety of the weekend, knowing how this will actually. Usually, we don't actually get to the last day. Still trying to find some stuff out. It's usually all figured out by then. But I suppose we'll see how things go. And I think the big winners, though, from this entire split is going to be Carmine Corp. They're not usually this comfortable at this moment in time. It's just typically, they might make it, and then they don't have the performances that they necessarily want for the org. But now the org seems to have found a roster that is delivering quite consistently, despite the loss today against Endpoint.
Yeah, they're not guaranteed, right? They're not guaranteed. They're just very likely right now.
Yeah, exactly. With Solary losing, there's a lot of potential there for other teams like Endpoint to make it forward. With Semper and Vitality getting eliminated, and maybe Luminosity as well. If they're that deep, if they make a super big run, they could potentially steal that spot. But who knows what's going to happen over the weekend? It's going to be absolutely bonkers. So that does wrap up Day 1. We've knocked out a few teams, tried to settle a few scores, trying to figure out exactly what the picture headed into London looks like. But let's get some final thoughts. We'll start with you, Greg, and we'll come back down the line.
Just classic Europe. There's so much excitement over every single result. Although today was a little bit more conventional of a tournament, everything sort of went as expected. A few results here and there going against it, but definitely tomorrow is going to be the big day. Tune in tomorrow to see which teams secure that London spot, and we're going to be seeing them here in London. I'm in London. I love it here in London. I'm going to be seeing my favorite teams making it tomorrow.
Shogun.
I mean, I think everybody already knows what I expect and what I think of the European teams. They continue to deliver exactly what we expect, which is pure chaos. So I'm going to use my opportunity to say a huge congratulations to Gladiators on getting through on the APAC South side, proving that APAC is sort of a lot more competitive. Yes, they're behind at the moment in terms of overall skill, but it's a region that needs that sort of give and take between the teams on who's winning all the time if you want that continuous performance and continuous improvement. So yeah, big result over there.
Yeah, a lot of fun games across the entire RL Esports ecosystem, and we will continue on tomorrow with the Super 16. You can catch us at 5 p.m. Central European time, starting for the matches. If you want to tune in a little bit earlier, come and show up at 4:30 Central European time for the pre-show. But that will wrap it up for us today. Thank you, everybody who shared the booth with me, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Championship is where the greats become legendary.